Yo! Test 1, test 2. Can you hear me okay? I'm gonna do a quick sound test. Test 1, test 2. I can hear me on the playback. Can you hear me okay? I'm gonna do a quick sound test. Oh my god, we've got Inception going on. Okay, turn that off. It should be okay. If you can, I could hear myself on the live stream. Let me just sort this mic out. I could hear myself. Jago, if you could do me a favour and please share that we are live, could you please retweet my tweet what I sent? Where is it? Where's that tweet? I sent a tweet. I tweeted. It should have auto sent a tweet because I put a thing to send one. Put to send. Did it send? Where is it now? I can see my profile. Oh yeah, here we go. Please tweet out this tweet. Copy link to tweet. This. That tweet. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If my audio is okay, let me just check my levels on not hitting red bars or anything. Let me just make sure that my gain. I'm just gonna quickly check my PC settings one second. I didn't actually look at that. PC settings, display sound. So for some reason it resets some of this stuff. Look, why is Google Chrome so low? Why does it reset this? So annoying. Okay, hopefully it's okay. Hopefully we can get a couple of people to come in here. There you go. Hopefully some people will join. Totally not. Oh, hi Totally not. You didn't get the notification. Oh no. YouTube is so annoying. Okay. Well, usually what I do, totally not, is just make sure the bell, you've hit the bell of course, and make sure you like the stream. Because it helps my metrics, but I also think it helps when it comes to getting these going live notifications. So I've noticed that because content that I want to see, I always hit the like, and that does actually help with the metrics on what notifications you get. Because some YouTubers I didn't used to get it, used to annoy me even though I had the thing on, and that happens like. The main YouTubers, like I don't have that many go live notifications on, but for the main ones they normally always send me the notification. It's only happened a couple of times where it hasn't recently, and I've just been consistently like hitting the like button, and yeah, just with every thing. So I believe that's the way the algorithm works. So yeah, well, without further ado, I believe we can get sorry about the notification. I know it's really annoying. Yeah, we can get started. Let me just. Do I have this open? Do I have my chat box open? Or the chat box? Oh no, that's a chat box test. Where's the main chat box? That chat box test didn't work. Okay. The main chat box should be open. Can it be seen on the stream? Hang on, let me just test it quickly. Test. Is the chat box displaying? Oh, it is. Okay, it's fine. Okay, I thought it wasn't displaying. No, it's there. It's alright. Chat box. browser. And we're ready to go. Hi Mario DK! Won't be able to call me as I'm at work, but I'll be listening and dropping comments in the chat when I can. Thank you very much, Mario DK. Thanks for showing up and listening whilst you're at work. Always great to have you here. Yeah, so we're actually getting started now. I'm going to lower the eShop. We love the eShop music. I don't know if you could hear it. Was it too low for yours to hear? Too low for you all to hear? Or maybe it was. Anyway, there's the eShop music. Where's my favourite one? Wait, let's jam out to my favourite one. Which one is it? Is it this one? No, not that one. This one? Which one is my favourite one? This one! This is the best one! This is the best one! It's the best one! Let's jump out to this. Let's go! This is the best one, man! This is on the 3DS. Isn't it the best one? Okay, today the topics are going to be. I have to do this. I am prepared. Stop trying to say I'm not. I am. I'm fully prepared. And you can hear it just fine. Well, now it's even louder. There we go. When I put up the Discord, when I bring up the Streamlabs thing, it always blurs out the picture on the thing, so there's not really anything there. Right? I've noticed it always does that. Yeah, so now you can see it. It's weird, isn't it? It blurs it out. It's too loud! Oh no! I'm jamming! Totally not, I'm jamming! Okay, fine, I'll turn it down. Oh my god. No one can just jam to eShop music anymore. Okay, today's topics, of course, is Cryin. Cryin, again, that's this just the end of PlayStation. If Call of Duty is not on PlayStation or it's degraded in some way or some nonsense he's come up with, which I understand why he's come up with it. It's kind of his job, he has to do that. So yeah, so that's one of our topics. We have the Famitsu sales, as always, software and hardware sales, very interesting this week. We also have, I can't remember the list of topics. What's the list? What's the list? The list is, oh yeah, well, is there going to be a new Sony handheld? Apparently so, but it's not maybe what we think it is or maybe what we want. We're going to be taking a look at the world of Push Square. One is there was a slight misinformation they've been putting out, which we'll go over, and another is this interview where they had the developers of Octopath Traveler and of Octopath Traveler 2, and half the interview is about why Octopath Traveler 1 is not on PlayStation. Even though they're talking to them about the second game, that's what they're talking about. Then Push Square, like I said, a little bit of misinformation, and they misquoted me on something. I only just realised this a couple of days ago. They used one of my tweets in an article. And then we have the secret topic that Mousy could not wait around for. Yeah, I know, it's too loud. You don't want to kill the vibe. You killed the vibe, it's too late. Do it. Okay, don't worry, we're turning this down now. I just wanted a little bit of, get us a little bit started, a little bit of hype at the beginning of the show. So, yes, the secret topic that Mousy couldn't hang around for, I can reveal. Because I was talking about this secret topic, and Mousy, Mousy got excited. In fact, got so excited that she left. But look, hang on. The secret topic is Airbus Cryin. And there's an important reason we're talking about Airbus Cryin, and I will talk about that. That's just to whet your appetite for Airbrush Kiryu. Okay, we will be seeing more of him soon. But first we're going to get into the Famitsu sales. We've got another week's worth of software and hardware to go over. That'll be the first part of the show. Hopefully, I may be able to get a couple of guests in to the show. If you would like to call in, for those who don't know, the way this is facilitated is via Discord. So I have a Discord server. It is imaginatively called Jodie's JP Sales Chat, as in Jodie's Japanese Sales Chat, because I'm not great at thinking up names. So let's get the invite for that. I don't know why it has this expire one. Hang on. I'll get this one that doesn't expire. I'll get one that doesn't expire. Okay, generate new link. So, if you would like to join the Discord, you can join in our community to talk with us about general sales things. We talk about a lot of different topics. We also, the Discord also, as well as facilitating calling in, you can also come watch the pre-show, which I now hold in the Discord. I think that's the best way to do it, actually, so that it doesn't need something to be that needs to be on YouTube. It's just me gathering. It's just me gathering the different topics and putting everything together. And the way that's done is that I share my screen. I actually share my entire desktop, so you can see the different applications I'm using. And when you jump into that voice chat channel, you will be muted. So you will not be able to talk, but you'll be able to hear me. And I think that's the best way to do it. So actually, I made a brand new voice chat channel to do that. Okay, so let's drop this into the chat. Oh no, I can hear me in the background on this thing. I didn't realise that was playing. Okay. That clone PS3R2, you're here! Hello! You've never been here before! Nice to see you! I'm so glad you could come. I love your little... do you really have that? I'd love to know if you actually have that ferret. I know you have a beautiful cat. That cat that you often post pictures of on Twitter. He is beautiful. I love that cat. Oh, J2 Blue, welcome! Airbrush Kiryu is back. Yes! J2! Airbrush Kiryu is back! And I wasn't going to talk about Airbrush Kiryu this week, but I was sent intel. From a install-based forum member called KR. KR, shout outs to KR, who sent me some intel about Airbrush Kiryu. So, that's why he's on the topic thing. I was sent intel. Yes. And Mousy, you're missing it. Well, you snooze, you lose, Mousy. That's the way it is. Right, yeah, sorry if you could hear this window here bleeding. I didn't realize I had it playing. If you could hear it bleeding through earlier before, I've turned it off now. So everything should be off here. But yeah, I just have this, obviously I need one for monitoring. I can see what's going on. But I try not to have these playing for like the whole time because it obviously uses up the bandwidth. So I'm gonna pause this one for now. Dark Clone, you're here. I'm so glad you're here, Dark Clone. Is that what I call you, Dark Clone? J2, Mario DK, totally not. Thank you for joining me, Jago. I think Jago's out and about, but maybe Jago can hear me. I'm not sure. Jago mentioned something about not having earbuds, so I'm not entirely sure. We're going to talk about these cells. Let's enlarge these. Enhance. We need it bigger. Close that for 1 second so we can see everything here. Oh, now I need to refresh. Actually, I turned off. What I mean is I turned on ad block. We can use this thing here to put some English. The only thing is it botches the names of everything when you do that. Like some things it will get the localized version, but then it says because Kirby is called Kirby of the Stars in Japan. Hoshino or Kirby, they say Kirby. But so that's why it's translated like this. Because that is the correct name, but obviously it's not called, the title of the game is not called that. The English name is Return to Dreamland Deluxe, right? But it was called Kirby Wii in Japan. So that's why it's this some weird stuff happens with this when you use these things. But this is what we're talking about. So let's go over the top 10, and then we're going to touch on the top 30, and then we're going to look at the hardware, and I'm going to use niche barrier to facilitate some of this stuff. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I got completely distracted. I was talking about like how the show. Oh yeah, the live show. We did the live show. Sorry, the pre-show. We do that over here in the. I should be able to show you actually. If I get onto here, I'll show you my. Oh wait, hold on, not that. Wait, hang on, not that. Sorry, where's the other Discord thing? Oh yeah, this. Oh no, it's huge. It's bigger. Oh, hang on, it's because I need to shrink down the actual thing. Okay, so you should be able to see this. Oh my god, pardon me. It's called Return to Dreamland Deluxe here on Switch. Yeah, it is. Isn't it Wii in the UK too now? Nah, it was called Return to Dreamland as well in the UK. So yeah, so this is how I've set things up now in the Discord. I do add threads in now into the main notice board chat here. So this is where we talk about things, and here it's easier if there's said please people use the threads if you could. You can make your own threads quite easily. You can right click on any topic. It's here. You can hover. It says create thread. You can create a thread from there. You can do this on mobile as well if you like hover over it. And you can create a thread, or you can just type. I think you can go here at the top and then create thread. Yeah, so use these threads. It keeps everything more organized, because it's like when it's all in one big long just stream like that, it's so difficult to go through anything. So that's why I did that. So I made a thread, and they disappear off. They don't stay there permanently, by the way. They actually disappear after a while. They will stay there as long if people keep typing in a thread, you'll see it on here. But I've set it so that after 7 days, that's the maximum you can keep them visible. After 7 days, they disappear. I don't know if I can show you that part. But it shows you how they disappear. How do I do that again? I think the maximum you can keep them up is edit thread. So is it this bit? Yeah, look. Hide after inactivity. So 1 week is the longest you can keep them there. After that, they're just hidden. So if they were bumped, you'd be able to see them again. So that's why someone asked me something about Curry Tech Mine, and I decided to put it in here. So I was just testing it out, and then I put our roadmap in here, which I will be editing this. See how we're about. And the poker catcher, instead of having its own completely separate chat, it's just going to have a thread now. And you see I bumped it, so you can see it in here. So I think that's better, because nobody was using that thread. So the show topics I put in here. You see I put the links that we're going to be talking about in here. So the thing I wanted to show was the pre-show. I made this new pre-show channel. So we was doing it in the town square before. Now I've made a completely separate pre-show channel. And basically, if you join this voice chat channel, I will be screen sharing in here. You'll be able to see me prepare the show. So that includes what I'm doing on Discord, what I'm doing on Streamlabs, and on my various browsers. And if you look at the permissions here with everybody, I've set this so everybody can view and connect and listen to me, but you won't be able to come in and talk. I've muted everybody. So there were maybe people worried about that, they didn't want to come in and talk as well. So this means that nobody talks, right? So you're just listening to me, just there, because the reason I started it is because I'm just sitting there preparing all the stuff anyway. I was like, okay, well, I might as well have it on so people can, just see what I'm doing. I just thought it should be a fun extra thing to do. But it is restricted to Discord, because I don't think it would be good content for a YouTube channel, and YouTube videos are long enough as it is. It doesn't need a whole extra hour of just like me faffing around on my computer. And also there's the issue that I might accidentally dox myself, and I don't want a video of that as well. I haven't doxed myself so far, so we'll see how that is. So yeah, the other thing is that with the live chat, so we have this I like Jodie's JP sales chat. And yeah, so during the show, can we? What was it? Just during the show, can you use this? Was my secret topic. I already revealed what the secret topic was, Mousy. When did you say that? Mousy said it half an hour ago. I already revealed it, Mousy. I revealed it. You bounced. You bounced, Mousy. You snooze, you lose. What can I say? Right, so if you use this live chat channel, KeyCare often uses this. What I decided to do is that you can come into this live chat channel. This is all under Game Corner Shop. This is where everything to do with our show is under Game Corner Shop now, rather than using Town Square. Town Square will stay. I decided to keep a voice chat channel just free open that anybody can use for whatever, right? But everything underneath Game Corner Shop, that's all just for the show, right? So you can come in here and you can post memes and so on. KeyCare often does, and if you show little memes and little gifs, which, you know, please keep them PG, right? No hentai or anything like that, right? You know, just PG, respectful memes that can be displayed on YouTube. If you post them in here, then I will periodically come back and show this Discord window on the stream so you can see. Because the reason I decided to do it is because Kiko was posting all these funny memes and gifs and things. I thought, well, let's just show them because it's funny. So yeah, oh Mousy, you're here. Yeah, I revealed the secret topic. It's already been revealed, Mousy. You snooze, you lose. You snooze, you lose, Mousy. That's guys. No, I can tell you what it was. Let's close this one off. That one. Yeah. So the secret topic is Airbus Curio. That's the secret topic, and you'll see why we're talking about Airbus Curio in a sec. Because he was on the Letter from the Producer Live. The Final Fantasy Letter from the Producer Live. He was on it, and you'll see why. We're going to talk about that. It's very interesting. So Airbus Curio is the secret topic, Mouse. So, but anyway, let's talk about these software sales. I hope that explains everything to do with Discord, by the way, and that's easily understood. So you can, so like, yeah, memes for the win. So the memes have already begun. The memes have begun. Like I can show you here. I have to put the window on top of it, and I think in order for the meme to play, I have to have the actual window open, otherwise it doesn't play it for whatever reason. I had to mute Def. Oh, him. He looks weird. Airbrush Curie looks weird. Because that photo is airbrushed. But he does look very young. Like, bear in mind, this guy's like nearly 50. Keep that number in your mind. He's born in 1975. Bear that in mind when I show you this live stream in a second. You need to keep that in your mind. He's born in 1975. Right. Nice. I can just imagine this guy's I think he's a poet or something. Nice. Or an actor. I can't remember now. Memes for the win. So yeah, you can come in here. You can post. Oh, Jodie's JP sells cat. Oh no, because I made a mistake. I meant chat. I'm really bad at thinking up names, so that's what it's called. Jodie's JP sells chat. That's what the server's called. And the names. So yeah, I kept this as Game Corner Shop. Everything's over here, and nobody. I'm surprised nobody said anything. Nobody's ever asked me, or even said anything about why I've called the names of like this the other part Hub World. Does anybody know why it's called that? Why I've called it these things? Hub World, Notice Board, and Town Square. Does anyone know why I called it? Why I chose those names? Curious Hidden Power is Airbrush. Yeah. Anyone guess? I didn't think it was that obscure. That people wouldn't have realised why I called it that. Not Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing doesn't have a hub world. Good guess though. Think about a game with a hub world. A series that's like really famous. And it has a notice board. No? It's not Sonic. You call it those things because you like Animal Crossing mid. It's not mid. Awesome. There you go. I have no idea what you're talking about. You're so close to Fantasy Life. Same genre. You're so close. Well, not the same genre, but no, it's actually not the same genre. Something when you're going out, like, from a hub world. Nobody's getting it. I have to tell you. It's not that exciting, but I just thought people would have guessed it. No? None of you know? Oh, damn. You get quests from a notice board. Nobody knows what that is? Oh my god, Harvest Moon. No, sorry. Yes, Monster Hunter! Mario DK, Monster Hunter, thank you! Oh my god! I didn't think it was that obscure. Like, you would not realize it was Monster Hunter. Nobody's ever said anything about that, ever. And I've had it called that stuff from the beginning. And not a single person has ever said anything. Yeah, Monster Hunter. It's Monster Hunter. It's a hub world in Monster Hunter. You get your quest from a notice board, and it's in the town square. So I just called it Monster. It's just for Monster Hunter. That's literally what it is. It's a little early, but you got it. You got it in one, Mario DK. You was the only one that guessed it. Well, no, actually, no, in two. You did say Animal Crossing. Yeah. Kirby Clash Deluxe is so good. Oh my god. But you're a Monster Hunter fan. I've dabbled in it a bit. You're a big fan. You're a big fan. That's why you never said anything, Mario DK. Nobody's ever said anything. Monster Hunter, yes. It's from Monster Hunter. No, I haven't played that many of the Monster Hunter games actually. But I really loved Monster Hunter Stories. There was 3DS one I played a bit. Okay, so I did buy Monster Hunter Rise. I haven't played it yet. So there you go. Is what it is. You know how guys, you know what's so funny? This is what I was going to do, the show and tell. I've got a big pile of games that I've got in like a massive pile of games. I just bought this stuff recently. Oh no, Jago, no, the way you do it though with Kirby Clash Deluxe, you just buy the maximum gem apple tree. You just buy the maximum one, and then it can't, you can't spend any more. There's a limit to what you spend. Buy the maximum one. It's like £30 or something, and it's like you've got a Mario DK. I've got a huge backlog. I can't even talk about that backlog. Yes, I have a big backlog. Mario DK is huge. The game came out last week. Oh God, you're so young, Jago. Jago, are you? What the hell? Are you an infant? You're an infant? You were 15 when it came out. The 3DS one or the Switch one? If it was the Switch one, it was even worse. It was on the 3DS first. Although it wasn't very good on the 3DS. I feel like the Switch version is better. Even though it's basically the same, but yes, just put the get the maximum gem apple tree. Don't like buy. Oh, you did it. Maybe they changed the way they did it on the 3DS then. You just get the maximum gem apple tree. And it just maxes out the gem apples every day. And you can't spend any... You literally, even if you wanted to, you can't spend more money on it after that. Nice. Okay, let's go back to the other screen. Close this one. Turn that one off. Your back has 3 generations. Oh no. There's 3 generations. Oh dear. J2 Blue. Oh my gosh. So you're talking like current gen and then PS4 and all the way back to PS3 or Wii or that's what we're talking about? We're going back as far as GameCube or PS2? Oh my gosh. How far? Okay. We're gonna get into this because I'm not gonna start. I've already been live for 30 minutes. Oh dear God. Okay, let's get into these software sales. And then we're gonna get into our fun topic, which is the secret topic, Airbus Kiryu. We'll talk about Airbus Kiryu. Okay. Top 10. And if I might have to stop periodically to use this mouth spray that I have. So I have explained this, but I'll explain it one more time. I have a health condition, that can make it difficult for me to talk, funnily enough. It makes my voice dry and croaky. This is a condition called Sjogren's syndrome. So occasionally I might have to stop to use these sprays. So excuse me for 1 second, please. But you know, I try not to let it hold me back too much. Not to just stop my life completely. Okay, so moving back into number 1, back into first place. Kirby, oh my god, Kirby, whatever, the Wii one, this one. Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That's it. I got the Japanese names are confusing me. Kirby of the Kirby Dreamlux. You know what I mean? This one, the one that's on the screen. That one, that Kirby, that game, the old ass Wii game. It's a port. It's a Wii port. I don't care what you say, Jago. Jago's like, oh no, it's got Magnalore in there. It's content. Magnalore content. I don't care about the Magnalore content. It's an old ass Wii game. Okay, it sold 21,000. So that ousted Resident Evil 4 Remake, which was number 1 and 2 last week. So they have both dropped down. Now the drop of those, actually we're going to look at Niche Barrier. Niche Barrier maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll just use Niche Barrier. Maybe we'll just use Niche Barrier. Let's see here. Because I think it's got the percentages on here as well. Let's have a look. It does. So Resident Evil 4 on the PS5 dropped 79%. Can you all see this? Remember when I made my pointer huge? Enhance! Should I make it huge again? How do I do? Oh god, I can't remember how I did it now. I went into... What was it? Hang on. How did I make my pointer huge? Was it ease of access or something? Hang on, accessibility? What? Ease of access. Oh, here we go. Enhance! Pointer's huge. I wish I could, you know what, but this is why I miss old Windows. I don't know, you probably could still do it on here, but you could change your point. I used to have like a, I swear I had something that was like a little Kirby pointer or something. Well, maybe it wasn't Kirby, it was something pink. Like... Can you see my huge pointer? Can you see this? This is better though, right? Now you can see what I'm pointing at. So yeah, so drop of 79%, a drop of 81%. Now if we look at previous, I did not prepare this part, so we're doing it live. We're doing it live, folks. Okay. Resident Evil 7, not 7, sorry, 8. Oh, not 8. Village, whatever. You gotta put the exact name in here. That's so dumb. You gotta put the exact correct name. This is Village. It's 8. We all know it's 8. We know it's 8. It's 8. Anyway, oh, this is so annoying because they're in. Oh, okay. I have to do them individually. Like, ignore these ones about these gold editions and all of that. We're just gonna look at the main editions. So here's the PS4 version, and we've got the sell-through 40-60%. Can we see what it dropped in the second week? Is that an easy way of seeing that? I thought it showed it on here. Well, I'd have to like calculate it. I can't do that nonsense. Good lord. Okay, let's hit this button, and then we can see. I believe we can see if I hit that button. Okay, so it dropped 68%, right? That's a 68% drop second week, and the PS5 version is all the way down here. It was an 84% drop. So yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. That basically it dropped. The drop was a little harsh for an action game, because when it comes to something like an RPG, their drops are always large. They you know, most people go out and buy RPGs day one. They typically don't have a really long tail. But it's a bit different with like something like a different genre, like an action game. I think visual novels are normally all front loaded as well. So it's a little. I put like on Twitter. I said I felt like the drop was a little harsh for that style of game. And yeah, the other, we had our new entry was the Winning Post. So we're gonna go into that winning post, because Winning Post was kind of winning for what it is, right? So yeah, so that's what I have there. So look at this. More than a Magnalord jump scare. What the hell? I need to show this on the stream now. Jago! I mean, Kike. Both of you, in fact. Both of you. Look what they did. Look at this. Can you see it? Oh no, I have to click on it so you can see the GIF. Support. Magnalord jump scare. Let's see, what's your comments? More than a port. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Okay, yes, it did. There's exceptions to that. When I say like RPGs, like Pokemon would be an exception to what I said, because Pokemon is an RPG with just crazy legs, right? But for most stuff that isn't Pokemon, right? Pokemon's like in a league of its own for stuff that isn't Pokemon, basically. So. Mario DK said RE4 are dropping like a standard single player JRPG in the second week. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Yeah, Mario DK gets it. Mario DK gets it. Yes, that's it. It's dropped like a standard single player JRPG in the second week, which is not what you want to see for an action game, basically. J2 Blue Engage. It's mostly just GCS GameCube games I want to play. Ever since I had one, I never had one back in the day, and a couple of PS2 games I missed out on. I feel there's so many games that I missed out of 25 years worth of games. So I've got a lot to catch up on. Jago says, wait, RE8 came out 8th gen? Yeah, it was on the PS4. It was on both. It was PS4 and PS5. But PS4 is 8th gen, right? Isn't it? Somebody tell me. Oh, I thought PS4 was 8th gen. I don't know. Jada Blue, I actually hope the next Resident Evil is third person. So do gamers in Japan. Funnily enough. Jago said I had no idea. LMFAO. I thought it was 9th gen only. No, that was cross gen as well. J2 says it's on all systems. RE4 as well. Yeah, they're just talking about it's a fancy smanchy port. It's fancy smanchy, yeah. And Pokemon, part of what keeps it going is it has the multiplayer trading and battling. So that's why for instance, why we didn't see as long legs with Pokemon. The Arceus, Legends Arceus didn't have as long legs because it was possible to trade with that game, but there was no multiplayer battling. So that probably hindered its legs. Yeah, for that. So, yeah, can you all still see that? PS4 next to one at 8th gen. Okay, so let's just turn that off a second. And look back at this. So Resident Evil 4, so I hope that puts a little bit of context on what is going on, and they did well. They did well because they both RE4 remake did sell better than RE8, although as I said before, I do think that's because this one is third person and RE8 was first person, at least at launch. I know they added in DLC at a later date, but actually fairly like it must have been over a year after the game came out. They added that third person option, but at launch it wasn't like that. So yeah, so let's go down. We have our new release here. This is Winning Post 10. It is a horse racing game. I don't know anything about this series, but it's a very popular horse racing simulator game. That's all I know about it. So this is on the Switch. It sold almost 13,000 basically here. Good sell through. And we're going to look at the other SKUs of it, because earlier when I tweeted we didn't have the full top 30. So we get the top 10 first, and then much later on, like 4 a.m. my time, we get the rest of the chart. So there was a PS5 and a PS4 SKU. There's 3 SKUs again, but because if one falls outside the chart, then we just don't know what it sold. We just have to wait, basically. But we do have that now, so we're going to go over that. So we got the evergreens here, and then here's the PS5 version of Winning Post 10. Sold 7,000. That's at number 9. So that's all we could see. So now let's look. The PS4 version's here, and it sold 6,000 at number 11. Okay, so now if we add that up, I do believe someone's in Install Base said that this means it sold more than Winning Post 9. Am I correct about that? Winning Post 9. I got to kind of find it out on this thing. I'm gonna look on here. Winning Post 9. Let's see. Why are there so many of them? 20. Hang on. Do they keep releasing this? It says 2020, 2022. What the hell? Did they just re-release these all the time? What are these other ones here with different years on them? Are these updates? What is this? I have no idea what this is. Well, I actually have no idea. What is this? Why is there these additional? Why is it 2021, 2022, 2020? Did they re-release these? They must have done. Okay, well I have no idea then. This is very difficult for me to, when I have no idea about this series and why there's multiple, like 3 releases and then on each SKU. Okay, well that makes things confusing then. But anyway, the previous versions didn't have a PlayStation 5 SKU, but they do now. So that's what we're seeing here. So anyway, I believe someone on Install Base Forums said that it sold more than 9. I can't work out whether it did or not by looking at this, because what is all this on earth? Does anyone know? Let me look in the chat. 200. What's this? 200k is the niche barrier after all. What's that supposed to mean? Mario DK. The recent WP seems to be the most successful in a while, which is good to see. And they are yearly, so they do 9 and then it will come out multiple times. Is horse racing really popular in Japan? I know that it is, apparently. I know there's a horse racing anime. Right, so you know they have that whole horse racing, the Horse Girls game, that mobile game, which I know is not exactly horses, but I think it is popular in Japan, horse racing. And it's just like, horse racing is just one of the most boring, it's just so dull and boring to watch. And there are questions about about how those horses are treated. Here in the UK, I don't know what they do in Japan, or in other countries, but in the UK there's been not a great history of the way those horses are treated at all. So yeah, okay, so it's kind of like FIFA. Okay, well I'll have to look at data of that later, because I can't quite figure out how to compare this right now. If it's like number 9 but it comes out multiple times like this, so that's crazy. But anyway, I think it has improved. So there's those, and then other than that, we have some of the usual suspects. We got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 5, sold an additional 12,000. Splatoon 3 at number 6 sold 10,000. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 7 sold 10,000. Minecraft at number 8 sold 8,000. And Nintendo Switch Sports at number 10 sold 7,000. And other than that, we can look at the second week drops for, I guess it's the second week of Atelier Riser 3. Is it? Or was it the third week? Oh, I can't bloody remember. Someone let me know, please. Let me know. Is this the second week for Atelier Riser 3? Or was it the third week? I can't remember. Oh. Octopath Traveler 2 still holding on. Okay, so maybe it is a second week because okay, if all 3 SKUs are still here, it must be the second week. because this one would have dropped off by now, right? The PS4 version. Right? 2 Kirby's in the chart. Look at that. Kirby winning. 2 Kirby's. Let's see. Does anyone know? That's unfortunate. Yes, so it is the second week. Okay. Oh, it is the second week, but that means we can go and look at these drops then. A Tellurizer 3 on the Switch had an 85% drop. That's pretty high. For these RPGs, 80% would be good. So above 80% is a pretty high drop in my opinion. For that, Tellurizer 3. There's 2 other SKUs. Let's look at those. Where are they? So the PS5 version drops 86%. Again, that's pretty harsh drop. So 85 and 86 are both pretty high drops for a second week, even for an RPG, because 80% is about the average, right? I think maybe you might agree about that, Mario DK. And oh, good lord, oh no, this is really bad. The PS4 version, 89%. That's terrible. That's in particular, that's bad. So that really isn't good at all for the PS4 version. Though it does show that you see some cases now of PS5 versions selling better, but it's not like it is in the West at all, where it's overwhelmingly PlayStation 5. Still, you can in Japan, you can still have a situation like the split we see with Resident Evil 4. I mean, they are almost neck and neck. The PS5 version has only sold 7,000 more than the PlayStation 4 version. So if Capcom had opted to make this game next gen only, then they can kiss goodbye to 50% of the sales. So I think you can understand why they did choose to have a PlayStation 4 version. I saw a lot of people kind of crying about it, saying, oh, it should be next gen only, but when it comes down to it, I know some people say that these Japanese companies, these Japanese publishers, they don't care, they only care about the Western sales. I think they do, because they could have gone in the West. They could have gone and made this next gen only. But I honestly think the reason is Japan, because Capcom are also making a next gen a cross gen version of Street Fighter 6. Although it's not something I expect to be a big seller in Japan, because 5 wasn't, and they generally just are not in Japan. But they care to some degree. And obviously it also helps them because worldwide, because the PS4 has a massive install base. You know, it's talking about well over 100 million, it's like 115, 17 million, I can't remember the exact number, but it's high. So that's why, in my opinion, like these sales, when you look at this and you're comparing this, now you might think, oh well, that's nothing, but I actually think they do care about these sales. Otherwise they could forego this. You're seeing like Sega choosing to make Like a Dragon 8. They've already announced it's going to be a PlayStation 4 version, and that game is not coming out until 2024. And they already announced it's going to be a PlayStation 4 version. So unless they cancel it, it's possible, I guess, but for now they have said there's going to be a PlayStation 4 version of Like a Dragon 8 in 2024. So bear that in mind. So that's mostly to go over the software. I figured people wouldn't spend too much time on it this week, since there weren't really a lot of huge releases. We do have Gran Turismo 7, which people said, oh, it sold over 100 million, but you have to remember that game is bundled. So, you know, that's kind of what. Well, you'd see the PlayStation 4 version in the chart as well. So if you see like a lot of games, the PlayStation 4 and 5 versions are close, right? They're close. Look up Resident Evil 4. Look at some of these other games, but with Gran Turismo 7, it's a landslide with the PlayStation 5 version. And that wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the bundle. So bear that in mind, you know. And I said that Nintendo Switch Sports is bundled in Japan as well. So do bear that in mind that both those games have bundles actually. So you need to think about that. Although Switch Sports was trending before the bundle was introduced, but there's still some contribution from the bundle there. So now let's look at hardware. Let's look at your comments quickly. Oh, Rigo Romero, hi, welcome. Rigo Romero says, how close do you think Tears of the Kingdom will get to those Scarlet and Violet numbers first week? Okay, so what does Scarlet and Violet have first week? I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. Pokemon. What do we have first week? 2.5 million first week? I don't think it's going to get 2.5 million first week. No, it won't get 2.5 million. How close? It's a good question. What did Breath of the Wild have first week? Like almost 200,000, 193,000. So it'll be over 200. It'll be over 200,000. Well over 200,000. Oh no, it have to be well over 200,000, wouldn't it? The reason I say that is just because the Comeg pre-orders are so high. Like it's really high. If we look on here, Comeg, like, it just got 50. It got 15 just yesterday. Here's the full. This is the Comeg pre-order chart, okay? So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So there's a regular. This one at the top here is just like the standard edition and the collector's edition. So together they're already well over 300 points, right? So that's already something that's already gonna launch well over 200,000. You know, I don't know exactly how high it's going to be. There's probably people on Install Base Forum who have like got pretty good ideas or estimates, but it's not getting up to. It's not going to launch at 2.5 million. It's like it's impossible. I just don't think it's possible for it to launch that high. It could be like 200,000-300,000. Once you add digital, it's going to be a lot more because of the voucher program. But yeah, altogether, I think if you include digital, I think the launch is going to be like 1 million. If you include digital, so this is going to be like 200,000-300,000 seller physical in the first week, right? And I'm sure I saw somebody on, it may have been one of the mods, I forget what's that mod's name, that's like Lelouch or something. Lelouch, I'm sure Lelouch said something about it's gonna be 1 million including digital, because the digital is going to be so high because of the voucher. It's like it's going to be over 50% because of the voucher thing. That wasn't something that you saw with. That's not the situation that we saw with Breath of the Wild because the voucher program didn't exist then. So, yeah, no. Pokemon, no. It's not going to launch as big as Pokemon. Very few things can launch as big as Pokemon, don't forget. Very few things. Yeah, Pokemon's just in competition with itself when it comes down to it. There's just very few things that are ever going to launch as big as a Pokemon game. Unless you're talking about like you know, Dragon Quest, Animal Crossing, something like that. You're not going to get many things that are going to launch as big as a Pokemon. So no, it's not going to go that high. It'll be big. It'll be big. It'll be the biggest. It'll be the highest launch for any Zelda ever in Japan. But it's not going to be Pokemon levels, no. You think 2 million? Mario DK, 2 million? Come on, with vouchers. So what do you think the digital's going to be? I think digital for Tears of the Kingdom is going to be 60 to 70% because of vouchers. So that's why I said 1 million. Because I think there's going to be 200,000 to 300,000 physical, and then you need to add another 60-70% to that, and then you end up getting to 1 million. 2 million? I just don't think so, Mario DK. I can't see that big of a jump. I just can't. I don't know, man. I just don't see it. Mario DK also says that art game. I know what's going on. How's the art game doing so well? Yes, Stronghold in its third, fourth week. It's been there for weeks. Yes, I had no idea Ark was that popular for it to be in the chart for that long. I had no idea. Did you know about that? Ark was popular in Japan like that. Where was it? Oh, where did it go? Here. It's still at number 15. I mean, no, I didn't know this. Let's see how many weeks it is. I don't know. How many weeks? I'll go back to here. Arc. How many weeks has it been on the chart? Oh wow, quite a few weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks. It's been in the chart for 6 weeks, Mario DK. Look at that. Isn't that wild? That's absolutely wild. Weekly. Oh, look, you can look at the total sales. You can look at weekly. You look at shipments as well. Look, they've got shipment estimates on here. Look. Mario DK, you seen this? Are you seeing this, Mario DK? Look at this site. It's amazing. Shipped copies, Famitsu's total. Yeah, peak 9, appearances 6. Oh, I love this site. Oh my god. I'm eating good with this site. Yeah, it's been on the chart for 6 weeks and it's still at number 15. So it's going to be there for at least 1 more week. So I would expect to see it next week. Because what's releasing next week? Nothing. Well, it's probably something. Maybe it's probably some little visual novel that I don't know about. But something that can sort of oust both Kirby and Resident Evil. Nothing like that's releasing, right? Unless I'm mistaken, what are the releases coming out? I'm not sure. But yeah. Let's quickly look at the rest of these comments. AR3 is also the third game in its own series, so those will be weaker compared to the first. That's Mario DK. Yes, I agree. Mario DK also says all these comments are from Mario DK, so I'm just going to stop reading there now. I'm just going to read the comments, okay? Also, we seem to be a pretty consistent 50-50 split across all kinds of PS4, PS5 games. Yeah, so before it was very heavily skewed to PlayStation 4. That was before the beginning of this year when we had all those PlayStation 5s which sold. Now, as I said before, Mario DK, I believe that a lot of PS4 owners were able to get hold of a PlayStation 5 for the first time, and that's why you saw this very sudden shift to more PS5 games selling and less PS4 games selling. I feel like a very sudden shift. Oh, let me put this heating on. It's like a bit cold over here. Yeah. Oh god, no wonder the actual thing's not on. Okay. I don't want to get chilled over here again. The sun's gonna go down soon. Well, not soon. Probably another hour or something. Also, PS5 hardware continues to drop while Nintendo Switch rises. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second and see exactly what is going on. I can see 2 million for Tears of the Kingdom first week with vouchers. I don't know about all that, Mary. Like I explained what my reasoning was before. That I think it's going to launch 200 to 300,000, and I think vouchers is going to be 60 to 70% vouchers, right? So I think it's going to be about 1 million, including digital. I know it was voted the #1 game of all time. Yes, it was. It was voted the #1 game of all time in Japan. It's the most anticipated game. It's like at the top of all these polls. It's the top of Amazon, everything. Everyone's... They're chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit. I mean, everyone is, right? Everyone's chomping at the bit for that game. Right? In Japan, they're popping off. Yeah, I've been following on that, what's going on. They're popping off. But everyone's popping off everywhere about that game. But, yes. 2 million. Mario DK, do you realize how high that is? 2 million? That you think it's gonna jump from Breath of the Wild launching at 200,000 plus digital to Tears of the Kingdom with I know you have to include, I do realize you have to include vouchers. I know that. For 1.5 million? Oh man. Here's the thing, Mario DK. We actually will know the answer to that once we get the shipment numbers from Nintendo, right? So it's not even like we will. Do you know what? Once I set up, because I'm going to set up a betting bot. Did I tell you? Did you look at my roadmap in the Discord? I'm going to set up a betting bot. We're going to have a bet on this. And also, because Kike thinks that Final Fantasy 16 is going to launch under 100,000 physical in Japan. No, it's not, Kike. You're wrong. You're wrong. That would be an absolute unmitigated disaster if that happened. I don't think... I think it's going to launch low, but under 100,000? I don't know. I know how it's looking because of the Comeg and everything, but... we just have to wait and see. Yes, I found a betting bot. I actually found a betting bot, but I just haven't set it up yet. So, I'm going to put the betting bot. Yes. What's crazy is Arc is... Did it increase? It increased 20%, did it? Hang on, let me go back and look at that. Did it actually increase 20%? Where did you see that? What, from last week? Oh, it did. It did increase. It went up. It did increase. It went from 3,422 to 4,108. It did increase. The hell? I don't know, man. I didn't know. Not only did I have no idea Ark was popular, like people were buying that janky ass Switch version. Because this is janky ass game full stop, but let alone the Switch version. So yeah, apparently they are. People are buying that there. Grind your mind. FF16 not sweep. Kike, look. Kike, once I set up that betting bot, we'll see who's laughing. Kike. Hi, Solid Python 2099. Jim Ryan, more like Jim Cryin. Hi, guys. Hi, Solid Python. Welcome. Yes. We are... Well, you're here. Well, we haven't covered that much, actually. As always, this show takes me ages to do. So, we're getting into the hardware right now. Right now. Hardware. Okay, so I have to look at my own tweet for this. My tweet. So here we go. The very mysterious and elusive PlayStation 5 baseline. Are we getting closer? Are we getting closer? That's why I put this this emoji. You see this emoji? It's a crystal ball. I love this emoji. I feel like we're getting closer. So let's have a look. Because we have a rather extraordinary situation with the PlayStation 5 hardware, okay, which has dropped again versus last week. Let's start off with the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch sold 56.5 thousand this week. Now that is up slightly at last week, which was 54.6 thousand. Okay, so in all in all, it's not doing too bad. It's selling at around 2019 numbers. So when I say 2019 numbers, I can show you on here. Let's look at install base. Install base. I have to scroll down. This is probably in the thread marks, but you know what? We're not looking in the thread marks. This is how we're looking. Alright. We're not looking in the goddamn thread marks. We're looking here. So, I could have looked at the thread marks, but I didn't. I did not. Okay, oh my god, that makes it way too small. Okay, so here is Nintendo Switch weekly Famitsu sales, rounded to the nearest 100. Weekly units rounded to the nearest 100,000, total units rounded to the nearest 1,000. So this is very useful. They have one of these also for the PlayStation 5, but that one's a bit less useful just because of the PlayStation 5 being so supply constrained for so long. So it's not really a fair comparison, but we can look at it if you like. So here's this year. There's a cumulative total, and then what it sold per week. So obviously the first 2 weeks of the year is going to be a lot higher, and the way they do I think like, yeah, it's just because it's near the New Year's holiday. So if we look, we're seeing what I think is around a 50k baseline. Now I haven't averaged it out, all these numbers, but 50k is kind of fair, right? And if we look last year, we had much higher numbers. We were seeing 70, 90, but I don't know what released there last year, I can't remember. 80, 60, so last year was higher. 2021 was also very high. What was that? That was Monster Hunter, I guess, that released right there or something, right? Why it jumps that high. You see what happens to my mouse once I hover over an image? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. But when I grab it, it doesn't do that. But when it's like that, it's like that. I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. And then, yeah, 2021, obviously, the Animal Crossing release there. So you saw it happened twice. It's really high. But if you look at 2019, which is red column here, you're seeing around 60, 50, 40, 50, 30, 30, 50, 70, 50, 40k. So that's why I would say this is around 2019 numbers that we're seeing in 2023. Because 2018 was lower, of course. So it's just the first full year. We saw 30, 40k, what we're seeing around there, right? And then obviously, like, the launch year was a lot lower, because I mean that happens to, you know, every console basically, because it's just getting started, right? So yeah, so it's selling around 2019 numbers, I feel. Do you feel that would be fair to say, Mario DK? 2019 numbers? You let me know how you feel about that. But I feel like it's 2019 numbers that we're seeing. So, see, lower than last year. You see, this time last year it was selling 67,000. So we're down from that higher. So I just showed you on the chart. It's like 2019 numbers. Now, we can talk a little bit about the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5 sold 34.6 thousand this week. Last week it sold 38.9 thousand, so it's down on last week. And then this time last year it sold 30,000. So like I said, it was still supply constrained for most of its life up until like the beginning of this year. So it's hard to make a fair comparison, I feel. So I can't really go too hard when it comes to those numbers from last year, because I feel it would have sold more, or it just would have looked different. You know, it may have sold more in the beginning and then sold less. It may have, you know, sold less in the beginning and then just built up and sold more. But we'll never know. That's just a what if scenario. We just don't know, because that's not how things played out, with the being supply constrained and the scalping going on and all this nonsense. So we don't know. But what we do know is that we've had another drop in the face of having a release like Resident Evil 4. So a lot of people, when they were tallying up their lists of big games coming out this year, that would be, would be significant a release in Japan, is what we're saying as well. Resident Evil 4 was, of course, on that list. So we had it pull what I feel were decent numbers for what you could expect from Resident Evil nowadays in Japan, which is dropped. It sold more than Resident Evil Village at launch. Sorry, 1 second. This stuff tastes horrible, by the way. They changed the brand of the spray that I use. Now the new one, it's bloody horrible. But I have to use it. So if you hear my voice breaking, that's cracking. That's what's going on there. So sorry about that. As I was saying, yes. So Resident Evil 4 numbers were solid in my opinion. But there were people who thought that hardware would expose you to see like a big release. This isn't what normally happens. The normal pattern is where you get a big release and then you will see a hardware bump. But instead of that happening, we saw the opposite happen, that the hardware went down from the week before. The week before it was 40,000 and then it dropped down to, I think I'll look on Niche Barrier again. Niche Barrier, save us. How do I just look at just the hardware? Oh, here we go. Okay. No. I want to look at just hardware. Right, here's hardware. And we need to see now. Now. Right, here's now. 50 entries. Okay. I wish this was the other way around though. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. So here's the beginning of this year. So we can see the chart, the weekly sales here. This helps a little bit. You can see that big rise there was at the beginning of this year and then it's just dropped down since then. It just went up like that. So if we look here, now Resident Evil 4 released this week right here. No, sorry. It's last week. It was last week, wasn't it? Ooh. Yeah. It released this week here. Week 124 of PS5. Week 124 of PS5 sales. So we had those 90k weeks where people were running around thinking it's going to be a 90k baseline, but software was unchanged. And then we had Resident Evil 4 release here. So a lot of people were saying, a lot of people were coming to me and saying on Twitter as well, oh, it's gonna, you could wait till Resident Evil 4 comes out, you can see PlayStation 5, it's gonna go up so much, No, that's not what happened. It went down. Now that is absolutely not what we would expect to happen with a release that sold over, what did it sell? It was 150,000, right? Was it about 150,000? Or was it more than that? I can't remember. It was around that, right? So why did we see a drop of around 1,000 units here? It's around 1,000, right? Let's just round it up. Around 1,000 units drop. It didn't increase to like, it didn't seem to sell more units. So what I think happened, and this is my opinion, so you can disagree or have your own ideas. Right, so during these weeks we saw where the supply increased, I think that a lot of the demand was satisfied in those weeks. So I think the drop was going to happen anyway. I think it was inevitable. So I think when Resident Evil 4 came out, I think that just slowed the drop. So I think it would have sort of been 30, 39k that week. It may have been 35k. It might have been what you see this week, or like 30k is what I think may have happened. Obviously, that's a what if scenario, but the fact that it's dropped and then dropped again this week is not encouraging, right? It's not very encouraging, and I would have liked to have seen a rise for the week that Resident Evil 4 came out. I wasn't expecting a drop. Let's put it that way. I really wasn't expecting a drop. So on paper, I wasn't expecting a drop, but then when I was looking at, because I was looking at Amazon, what was going on there, and then looking around and hearing that the system was fully in stock at all these stores, but yet on Amazon it was for that week that it was going to come out anyway. The PlayStation 5 actually dropped down the bestsellers chart. I'm like, hang on, I click. So most of them are by invitation only, except for the Gran Turismo 7 bundle, which you can just buy. The rest are by invitation, which means it's just a lottery to get them on Amazon. So I thought, if it's dropping with that availability and it's like available in all the stores, that's when I started getting a hint that it maybe was going to drop and not be an increase with Resident Evil 4. So that's when I got the idea that maybe that was going to happen. But it certainly wasn't something that before that week I predicted ahead of time. I thought there was going to be a rise. I thought it was going to give it like a 20k bump. So 2 weeks before, I was like, oh yeah, of course it's going to be like a 20k bump. If Resident Evil 4 remake sells the same, I expected the sales to be in between 8 and it was going to be in between 8 and 3 remake, or 4, or I thought it was going to be between there. So I thought, well, it's going to be like a 20k bump, but that's not what happened. It went down, and then this week it went down again. So when I say I think the baseline is closer, I think this is not the baseline. I think it's going to drop again. So when we're at a baseline, that's when the average sales of the hardware kind of stabilizes, and it doesn't drop really high. It doesn't drop high. It doesn't drop really low, and it doesn't go really high. It hovers around the same place. So that's kind of what we're seeing with the Switch with the 50k. It's why I say it's a 50k baseline. Most people seem to think it's just a 50k baseline, or they think it's around there. But PlayStation 4, I'd have to see, like, if next week is 35, then yeah, maybe. But if it drops again next week, then this 35 to 40k isn't the baseline. Now, there are some people think it's going to be like a sub 20k baseline. There are people that believe it's going to be a sub 20k baseline. I don't know about all that, but I do know that between now and Final Fantasy 16, which is like a couple of months away or something, right? There isn't like a huge amount in terms of releases. In fact, there isn't really anything in terms of releases. Let's have a look. Do you know what? I think I did not send out a message to say that I'm live with this thing. I didn't send out a DM to say that I'm live. I probably should have done that, huh? Oh, lordy. Let me do that now. I didn't do it. I probably should have done that. Let me just do this whilst I wait for your comments. That's a lie. Who's saying this? That's a lie. This person's just saying that's a lie. I said about the printing of physical Xbox games falls on the publishers, not Microsoft. This person's like, that's a lie. It's not a lie. Microsoft doesn't publish third-party games. They have to publish it themselves. That's not a lie. It's just a fact. I'm afraid. People just say all sorts of weirdo things to me on Twitter. They really do. Okay, I'm gonna... Wait, what? Oh, this comment I've got is absolutely amazing. From somebody who says, with all due respect, Bad Mood Jody is the last place I would look for anything information on Sony and PlayStation related. I'm sorry, man, but you need to stop console warring. Fanboys like you are making gaming Twitter a worse place. What are you talking about? But because I said Cryin Jim Ryan? That's what you're talking about? I'm not asking you to come to me for this is a discussion show. It's not a news show. It's literally a discussion show. This is in the ring discussing the Famitsu sales charts. Cryin Jim Ryan, yeah. Sony fanboys call him Cryin Jim Ryan. That's where I got the name from. Where do you think I got the name from? I didn't make that up. Cryin Jim Ryan is what Sony fanboys call Jim Ryan. They also call him Lion Jim Ryan. That's where I got the name from. I did not make that name up myself. And yes, I put it in my title as a clickbait title to make people come to my show. You don't have to come to me for any news. Why are you even commenting on my tweets? If you're not interested in anything I have to say, don't comment. There's what you do. You don't comment. Anyway, let me retweet this tweet. Okay. So. Oh, comments here. Okay, so let's see. Cryin Jim Ryan. Tony fanboys call him Cryin Jim Ryan. Do you think I made up that? I wish I made up that name. I'm really bad at coming up at names, as we've discussed many times. I did not come up with that name. 10% drop for PS5 with no stock issues in its third year, while Switch in its seventh year with no major releases recently. Well, outside of Tears of the Kingdom on the horizon, I see it dropping again next week. It probably will. I would anticipate PlayStation 5 dropping. Yes. Switch could also drop next week, but it will probably not, like, it will hover around where it is probably, I would say, for Switch. Cross RE4 remake off the chalkboard. Yeah, it's off the chalk. What else is on the chalkboard, Mario? We should make one of those. I'll make one to put in our Discord. Well, what is on the chalkboard? When you say the chalk, are you talking about that chalkboard that people made for things that would, like, what's going on with PlayStation, or are you talking about just releases in general? Remember, there's somebody made that chalkboard in install base. Are you talking about that? J2 Blue says, I was actually expecting PS5 to be higher because of Resident Evil, because I guess not. I thought there was gonna be like a 20k increase, like a few weeks ago. I thought it was gonna be like at least a 20, because people say, oh, it's gonna go up 50k, and I was like, no, I don't think so. People think it was expecting it to explode, and I'm like, you need to actually look at the numbers and not just like think in your head what you think is gonna happen. Because I had someone coming to me like, oh, you know, Street Fighter 6 is coming out, it's a big release, and I'm like, you have clearly never looked to see what Street Fighter sells in Japan, because otherwise you would not be saying that. Like, just people just say things like that. I'm like, where are you getting that from? Have you looked to see what Street Fighter sells in Japan? You think it's going to be a big release? I was like, no, it's not. You know? Mario DK or Resident Evil 4 remake did was soften the potential harsh drops that would have happened. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. That it kind of softened it. But we'll have to see what happens going forward. Is it going to drop all the way? I can see that there's people definitely install base. I think it's going to drop to 20k. I don't know all about that. I can't I think like just the next month between that, like between now and Final Fantasy 16, we just have to wait and see what happens and see what happens in that week of Final Fantasy 16, which I imagine there will be an increased supply of PlayStation 5s. We've got to see how much that boosts hardware. But between now and then, yeah, it's gonna drop because there's there's people that are waiting for that release, right? So that's probably what's going to happen, and the same thing will happen with Switch. The thing why that's not going to happen as much as Switch is because of the Tears of the Kingdom OLED is going to release in like, when is that releasing? Like you're going to see it go. You're going to see OLED go right up once that comes, because obviously people want that OLEDs, right? So it's new hardware, so it's gonna go up. So Python said, if on the week of Final Fantasy 16 release, PS5 sales are still going to be below the Switch, the amount of copies will be off the charts. So, okay, so you're saying, so say the Switch stays around, around 50k, maybe a bit lower, 40k, maybe a bit higher. I don't think it's going to, I think the PlayStation 5 will sell higher during the week of Final Fantasy 16. However, I'm not expecting like a huge jump as that we may have seen with past Final Fantasy games. I think that's clear of the pattern now that we're seeing. And I have been looking on Japanese Twitter and so on just to see what people are saying. It's very easy, you can look that up yourself and see what people are saying. And like the chatter, like just a general chatter for just even how many tweets there are that are not bots, not tweeting out Amazon links, but just actual people, is low. Because I've been looking at it, like the chatter, and then the chatter that I see where it comes to, so just anyone who's saying, and the most common abbreviation for Final Fantasy 16 is FF16. That's the way most people type it in Japan, right? They literally type FF16. So you have a look for that. And you've got people saying, a common tweet that people say, oh, I'm looking forward to it, but then there's also tweets saying, oh, I just want to play, there's nothing else I want to play other than Final Fantasy 16. There's nothing between now and Final Fantasy 16. I see people saying that, saying like, and I started, do you know what, I actually started saving some of those tweets, and I haven't tweeted them out because I thought people would think it's just too trolly for me to actually show what people are actually saying in Japan. You can very easily find a tweet yourself though. And I found them and I'm like, oh my god, this is pure gold dust. But I don't know, I didn't tweet them out. I don't know, I thought people would be, oh Jodie, why are you tweeting out this? You can find it yourself, man. It's really easy to find out what people are tweeting. You just look it up. So 30k, so you think 30k is a baseline, okay. J2 Blue Engage. Are you in my Discord, J2? You are, right? I'm going to put in a betting bot because Keycare is convinced that Final Fantasy 16 is going to sell below 100k. So I'm going to make a betting bot because I don't think it's going to sell below 100k. First week. Hasn't Street Fighter always been a big seller in the West? It's always been fairly big in the West, right? Fairly big. It used to be big in Japan as well. It used to be huge in Japan, yeah, and then it dropped off. Like, was it last week or that Mario DK gave us a whole history. But yeah, that's for the hardware sales. We've been talking about that for a long time. Console Wars matches on. Who is that? Who is that inside that GIF, Keycare? Who on earth is that? Is that just some random streamer? Here, look. Can you see this? Oh my god. Jackpots. Pass. Me when I win. You're not winning, Keycare. Get out of here. You won't. What will you win? That's why I'm going to get the betting bot. So you can be held accountable when you lose. I've got receipts, Keycare. We know. Okay, now funny enough, I think Mousie's not here, so Mousie's gonna miss our secret topic. Our secret topic. Let's get this off the screen. Oh my god. Let's get the Discord off. Hang on. It's hard. It's kind of, it's harder to do things with this giant pointer. Okay, so our secret topic is Airbrushed Cryin. Now, the reason we call him Airbrushed Cryin is because of this photo. When I first found it, I googled this guy, and I'm like, what the hell is that photo? It's so airbrushed. It's airbrushed into his eye. Now, he does actually look young in real. To be fair, he does look young. This guy is almost 50. To demonstrate that, let me show you. And I'm gonna get into why we're talking about him. He was born in 1975. You can look it up here. Here's a Square Enix page of the executives. He was born in 19... Actually, when was old Matsuda? Matsuda was born in 1963. Okay? She's like 10 years older. Right? So he's born in 1975. His birthday's in June. Which makes him he's almost 50. He's 59, right? Now, he does look very close to this. To be fair, he does. But we have a colleague of his, Naoki Yoshida, right? Otherwise known as Yoshi P. Right? He looks kind of old, and I think the less said about his hair, the better. But I'm not here to talk about that. I just want to comment. He was born in 1973. He's not even 50. He's almost 50. He was born in 1973, right? He looks kind of, he looks that age. He looks that age, right? So he's at the same age as Airbrushed Cryin. I want you to bear that in mind. They are like the same age, okay? Right? They are the same age. Almost the same age. It's almost his birthday. So he's almost 50 in a month. So, stop bringing that up. Yeah. So, 1973 and 1975. Bear that ages in mind. Now, the reason we're going to talk about Airbrushed Cryin is because I was sent intel by install base for a user called KR. I asked what to call them. They said KR. Their username is like a load of letters. It's a little hard to remember, but I believe they said call them KR. So shout outs to KR. Thank you very much for the intel. And I feel like we have to clear Kiryu's name a little bit, because I was kind of hard on him. I was kind of hard on Airbrushed Cryin because of he comes from this company, this black company in Japan called Dentsu, which is basically Shinra. It's basically Shinra. It's like some evil company where people will work to death and all sorts of nonsense happens. He comes from there, and he is a crypto bro. He's a crypto bro, let's face it. He is a crypto bro. So I'm not giving him a pass on the NFT crypto stuff, alright? I do believe he's a crypto bro. But when it comes to Square Enix and the games, there were doubts from me, I don't know about anyone else, doubts of doubt. He doesn't come from any type of gaming background at all. He's only been working there for 2 years. Why has this man been handpicked to be the successor to Matsuda, who does a terrible job? Why are they picking this guy? This makes no sense. Who's this Airbrush guy? Where did he come from? He comes from this terrible company. Why on earth would they pick this guy? So I was kind of hard on him, not really knowing that. I saw a few of his comments. He did say stuff about Dragon Quest and stuff like that. I was like, okay, maybe he has the company's best interests at heart. But, so I was sent this intel by KR. So first what we're going to look at is this live stream. Now this was Final Fantasy 14 letter from the producer. They hold these, I think, at least every month. And I've watched them before. I've watched them. I haven't been playing Final Fantasy 14 as much recently, but I was playing before. So I would watch, and they go into like the patch updates and everything that they've got going on, right? And again, normally this guy on the right with the Superdry shirt on, he's one of the producers as well. And this dude can speak English. He can speak English. So often he will be interpreting. But in this particular one, I don't believe he is. Now, I can't remember what that guy's name is. I'm sure it says it here in Japanese. I don't know what this says. I cannot read kanji, so what is that? Can I use the, if I use the translate thing, will it do something? Oh my god, it's not that translate thing, the other translate thing. Hang on. Bloody hell. Can I not do that on here? Is it not? Well, whatever this says. What does this say? I'll do it like this. I'll translate. Copy. Ugh, that's annoying, isn't it? What does this say? Oh, okay, this is what this game. Toshio Utsuo is a global community producer. See, I can't read that. The Japanese names are normally always written in kanji. I can't read it, so there you go. Right. So let's take a look at this broadcast. And since Mr. Utsuo has decided not to translate for us, we're just gonna make it up. Let's just make up what they're saying, because I have no idea. Let's just make up what they're saying. Shall we do that? Is everyone ready? Let's have a look. Are you ready? LOL! Yoshi P needs to lay off those cancer. Oh my god, yeah. I'm not gonna say what you're saying, Mousy. Who are you saying that to? Mousy, here's to the secret topic. The secret topic. Right. Let's have a look. They're all bowing. Let's put some sound on. Let's see what they say.
第76回ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサーレターライブのお時間です。
はい。
皆さんにご挨拶お願いします。
ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いします。
He said, I'm the producer of Final Fantasy 14 and I know you will love me, and that's what he said. I'm making it up, by the way. So don't try and say I'm trying to interpret what they're saying, so I'm not.
進行を務めます。今季チームモルゴルこと室内です。よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、そして
And the guy in the middle, this is the current president, Matsuda, and he will be leaving shortly. I believe they're having his vote in like May. Okay, so he's the current president.
はい、スクエアエニックスの松田です。今日よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
ですね。
はい。
今日は冒頭、ちょっと今見慣れない絵面にはなりましたけれども、
そうですね。
我々の社長でもあり。
So what it's is saying is, I'm have you here today to ask you why, at the end of 2022, you released a whole bunch of games back to back to back to back on top of each other. I'm wondering why you did that, and we have a community question, and we'd like you to explain why you released so many games back to back to back at the end of last year. Please tell us.
私の直属の上司でもある松田社長にお越しいただいたんですけど、ちょっと気になることがありまして、
はい。
なんか聞くところによると、
He's saying, why did you decide to release Deerfield Chronicles so close to another tactical RPG game, Tactics Ogre? So they were so close in genre. Why were they so close together?
松田さん会社辞めるんですか？
そうなんですよ。
あ、そうなんです。
He said, yeah, I know.
そうなんよ。そうなんよ。
Yoshi P is just like, yeah, that's just so funny. I just can't even know why you did that. It's just ridiculous.
そうなんだよ。6月のね、今度の
はい
総会でね、まあね、今までどうもありがとうございましたということで、
わ
ね、退任させていただきます。
He said, thanks a lot for noticing that I released two tactical RPGs right next to each other. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that would be kind of funny. You know, you actually noticed that I put two tactical RPGs right next to each other. Ha 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 ha. I don't think you'd notice.
実はね、我々も結構ね、最近だったりしたんで、結構ざわしてましたけど、社内。もうせっかくなので、14のね、プレイヤーの皆さんにちょっと何か一言ぜひ。
And Yoshi P said, well, you know, our audience is saying that was dumb. I mean, why put two tactical RPGs right next to each other? Do you have something to say about why they were right next to each other at the end of 2022?
はい。14プレイヤーの皆さん、本当今まで、長らくありがとうございました。自分が就任してからですね、もう皆さんこういったイベントでですね、
And what he's saying is like, well, let's talk about Final Fantasy 14 now. And thank you for continuing to play Final Fantasy 14 and propping up this company by just like subscribing to Final Fantasy 14 and just keeping his company alive by subscribing to Final Fantasy 14.
いろいろ何回もご挨拶させていただいて、いろんなことをやってきまして、もうあっという間に10年経っちゃって、ここにいるメンバーも10歳年取っちゃって。
And he said, you know what's so funny? Final Fantasy 14 also has a cash shop, and there's microtransactions in there, and you can buy these potions so that you can skip through portions of the game with these volumes of these special things. You know, do you realize we sell that, Yoshi P and Itsuo, and that's why they're laughing.
今日も14時間生放送かなって聞いてたんだけど、どうも違う。
And then you're saying, oh, people actually pay for that? What the hell?
みたいで、さっき14時間生放送だから日付変わるからね、エイブリルフルネタなんかないのかなって言ってたんだけど。
And they're just laughing as oh, people spending all this money on Final Fantasy 14. It's hilarious.
ちょっと言うと、やれやれって言うからダメです。
Oh yeah, so Yoshi P's saying, oh yeah, you're right. So it doesn't matter if you release a whole bunch of games and they all bomb because people are spending money on Final Fantasy 14. Oh, I get it now. That's what he's saying.
どうもなんか違うみたいですけどね。こういう形でいろいろね、皆さんとも本当にいろいろねご挨拶させていただいたりして、本当ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
もうね、いろんなことを思い出しますね。
なんかこう、ちょうどその14って旧14から申請して、ちょうど申請してからもう松田さん体制でずっとやってきたんですけど、この10年正直結構無茶なこともいろいろやっていただいた。
So Yoshi P said, but hang on a minute, what about Forspoken that came out this year? I mean, didn't that like majorly bomb? Like, didn't that cost like a whole bunch of money that wouldn't be offset by Final Fantasy 14? That was expensive, wasn't it? Didn't you spearhead that, Matsuda? Wasn't that your pet project? And Matsuda's laughing, of course.
だと思うんですよ、我々。ステージに上がってね、お窓越しにやって。
And Itsuo's like, oh yeah, it bombed, right? Forspoken bombed.
たりとか、
席を飾っていただきましたね。
なんかこう思い出ってなんかありますこれ。
そうですね。
And he said, yeah, that's right.
思い出っていうとね、本当14時間生放送でね、データセンターの場所急がなきゃって。
And he said, yeah, actually, I didn't think it was gonna bomb. Like, I actually thought it was gonna succeed. I didn't think it was gonna bomb. That's why they're laughing. It's like, oh god, we lost $100 million.
それは自分で
まずいね。
それは
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it? Losing $100 million.
まずかったね。
まずいですね。本当それはまずい。
後ろからちょっとって言われて、そうか言っちゃいかんのか。
ダメですよ、ダメですよ。
Losing $100 million is just a little bit bad. It wasn't that bad. It's a little bit bad.
みんなのデータのセキュリティが全部詰まってる場所ですから。
あとはね、ラスベガスとか、あと本当に東京でのね。
But he's saying, yeah, it did bomb, and end of the day, that it was my fault a little bit. I mean, a little bit.
ファンフェス、コスプレの審査員もねやらせてもらったりとか、もう本当いろいろ思い出つきませんよ、本当にね。
いや、ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
本当皆さんもね、14楽しんで、いただいてる、ファンの皆さんのね、このプレイヤーの皆さんの熱量がすごかったなっていうのがね。
そうですね。それは
And basically they're saying, well, after Final Fantasy, sorry, not Final Fantasy 14. After Forspoken bombed, like I decided to dissolve that studio, Luminous, and now that studio is no more, and our NFT games haven't exactly taken off exactly like we thought completely. So I was thinking about bringing in a successor. And you know Kiryu-san, right? You know him, right? Yoshida?
結構その会社の IR 情報で、まあその退任されるっていう情報が出た時に、14プレイヤーの皆さんからやっぱ寂しいなっていう声がすごい。
Oh, Yoshida's like, oh yeah, that dude. He looks kind of like a little bit airbrushed. The guy who has the airbrushed picture on our website. Is that guy? Isn't he the CEO or something? That's what Yoshida's saying.
多かったので。
まあ本当にね、そういう意味ではまあこれからもまたいろいろね大きなイベントが多分あると思うんですけれども、まあそこでね皆さんぜひ日頃のプレーのみならず、まあそういったところで。
Anyway, yeah. So Matsuda's like, yeah. Well, yeah, that guy. Okay, so he's gonna succeed me actually, and I think everyone will be very happy with the direction he's going to drive the company with his passion.
ね、いろいろ交流してもらって、
はい、
ね、14を楽しんでいただければいいんじゃないかなというふうに思います。
吉田さんも松田さんにはきっとさまざまな高額な決済をしていただいたんじゃないですか。
そうですね。
高額ですね。
And Utsuwa is like, yeah, but isn't he like a hardcore crypto bro? And Yoshida's like, yeah, and Matsuda's like, yeah, he's a crypto bro.
しびれる。
突然持ってて、
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's why I brought him in.
この場で決めてもらっていいですかって。
Like, crypto bros. And they're just laughing. He's like, oh yeah, I bought one of those monkey NFTs too, and I lost money. That's what Yoshida said.
ありました。はい。
But it's alright because I'm stinking rich. I'm stinking rich. It doesn't matter that I lost money on the monkey NFT.
高額なんてレベルじゃない決済を。
Actually, it was more than one monkey NFT. I bought 5 of them.
ほぼ議論なしでお願いしますってやりました。
そうですね。本当思い出はつきませんので。
はい。
ね、本当に。
はい。本当ありがとうございます。
お二人もいろいろお世話になって。
いえ、とんでもないです。
そしてですね、
はい、
今松田さんからもご挨拶いただきましたけれども、本日はなんとさらにこの5月6月から新しい代表取締役社長に就任される桐生隆さん。
Okay, so now they're saying Kiryu Takashi Kiryu, he works this company and he's a crypto bro, but we're going to introduce him because he is going to see Matsuda. So let's talk. He's just talking about him. He said, you know, he was born in 1975. What's 1975? He said, did you know that he's almost 50? It's like he's the same age as you, Yoshida. Did you know he was the same age as you?
お呼びしました。
時期も。
はい。
Yoshida's like, oh, I didn't know. He's the same age as me, but he looks young enough to be my son. What?
のでお入りいただきたいと思います。どうぞお入りください。ちょっと席移動します。
So let's bring in Kiryu. And here's Kiryu with a guitar. Now you wonder why he has this guitar. This guitar, as he will explain, how he got this guitar, why he has this guitar.
キリちゃんです。
まあ一言初めましてだと思います。
ご挨拶お願いします。
He said, I'm Kiryu, and then Yoshi's like, please talk to our audience, but don't go into that crypto stuff too much because, you know, they ain't ready for it yet. We're gonna unveil that stuff later.
プレイヤーの皆さんにご挨拶お願いします。
はい、はじめまして。私桐生隆と申します。こちらに座っていらっしゃいます松田さんの本人としてアートスカイニックスの社長をやらせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。
はい。
He said, I'm Kiryu, and Matsuda handpicked me to be. I need to see what you all saying. I'm just having too much fun. Let me see what you're all saying. Oh, stop it, Mo! You should stop this right now. Let's see if they talk about Kiwasano. We'll see. We haven't got that far yet. Yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna see what Kiryu has to say. Solid Python. He said, I sold my soul to PlayStation. Sony is the best and I love them. Please buy our game and play and what? And PS5 and ignore it releasing it on other platforms in 6 months. Who said that? Yoshida? Mario says they had to get them out of the way for Forspoken. Roche, what did I miss? No, they're not shutting it down. I guess this is what happens when Jodie changes her mouse very bad. What? It's making me. I know it's improved my Japanese tenfold. Can you believe it? It's amazing. How did my Japanese improve so much overnight? I know exactly what they're saying. Let's see what he says.
まあそもそも、
はい、
なんでここに14のコラボフェンダーギターをまあ持ってるか
気になりますね。
はい。
ですね。
So Yoshida's like, why do you have this goddamn guitar? Why have you bought this guitar here? I just don't. What does this have to do with anything? Why do you have this guitar? Please tell audience why you have it.
私物です。これファンフェスでですね、このギターを見た瞬間に一目惚れしまして、必死になってあちこち探してどうにか9ヶ月待ちで手に入れました。私物です。はい。
いやこれ本当実はなんですけど、某ファイナルファンタジー16のプロデューサーの吉田が、メディアツアーに出ている時に、急に桐生さんからメールが来て、なんだろうと思ってバッと見たら、ついに届きましたよって言って。
Yoshida's like, I'm the producer of Final Fantasy 16. You know that, by the way, Kiryu. And Kiryu's like, yeah, I did. And then Yoshida's like, actually, do you know what? They told me that you're the same age as me. I can't believe you are the same age as me. You look like you have been airbrushed, and I look as old as crap. What is going on? Why do you look so young and I look so old? And Kiryu's just like, he's holding it's a guitar. It's my seat. It's the secret of my youth. It's a guitar.
届いたよやっとみたいな。
確かにデジタルファンフェスこれ発表したコラボ。
And then someone's talking off. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun. Obviously, my interpretation might not be accurate. Let's just say that my interpretation might not be 100% accurate. Maybe my interpretation was a little bit off. I don't know. Mario Kart. I keep calling you Mario Kart. Mario! Why do you have a K in your name? It's confusing me. If you're looking for our purchasing service, please check out the link below. The NFT magic helps you be an expert in Japanese there, clearly. The guy in the middle looks like a giant action figure. Who, Kiryu? Airbus Kiryu? It's my NFT guitar to continues to accept me. Right, so obviously I'm having a laugh here. Right, but we do know what they really said. We have a summary, okay? So I decided to have a little bit more of a joke with it. A little bit more of a joke. Let's say that, but let's just see what actually happened. So, Square Enix's next president shares his love for Final Fantasy XIV. This is the article on Automaton. So they actually, made a summary, a translation. Okay? So here's Kiryu in the middle, looking kind of... he looks a little bit sheepish and bashful with that guitar, I have to say. He does look a little bit bashful. Square Enix streamed Final Fantasy XIV Letter from the Producer Live, part... what is this? Who can read Roman numerals? LXXVI? What's the L? I don't even know. Why can't they just put that in normal letters? Why is there an L? What's the L? Is it 100? That's so dumb. Anyway, on the 31st of March, the broadcast delivers the latest information on Final Fantasy XIV to the fans, and in this installment it is announced that the latest update, patch 6.4, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, additionally, Yosuke Matsuda, the current president and representative director of Square Enix, joined the broadcast for the opening segment. He discussed the recently announced news that he'd be stepping down from his position and said his goodbyes to the viewers. Immediately after, Matsuda's successor and soon-to-be new president, Takashi Kiryu, also joined the stream and expressed his love for Final Fantasy XIV. Kiryu also brought a guitar with him when he appeared. The electric guitar, which Kiryu actually owns, is a special limited edition of Final Fantasy XIV Stratocaster that was created by American instrument manufacturer Fender in October 2021, actually remember this, to commemorate the company's 75th anniversary. He was immediately taken with the guitar upon seeing it at a Final Fantasy XIV fan festival and waited 9 months to finally get his own. Producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, Naoki Yoshida, praised him, saying, "I think it's commendable that you didn't just ask for one, considering you're the next in line to be the president." So you actually, I mean, come on, man. He actually, like, just went in the waiting list to get this guitar when he could have just said, "I'm going to be president, just give me the guitar." He didn't do that. He could have easily pulled that card. He didn't do it. When discussing the reasons why Kiryu is being assigned to the role of president, Matsuda noted that he is so devoted and persistent that he would even buy a Final Fantasy XIV Fender guitar, giving viewers a glimpse into Kiryu's passionate side. A Final Fantasy XIV player himself, Kiryu said that his wife is a hardcore player, and in the beginning she played as a healer and helped him along. Yoshida asked Kiryu for some interesting anecdotes about playing the game with his wife, and he discussed their harmonious adventures. Kiryu also wanted to play Final Fantasy XIV while relying on his own skills, so he created a second character and is currently working hard at tackling the game solo. When talking about his objectives for the future, Kiryu stated, "I want Final Fantasy XIV to be the best game in the universe. And I love games, so I want to make Square Enix into a company that releases many games that everyone enjoys." Furthermore, he referenced the time Matsuda cosplayed as a Blue Mage at Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2018 in Las Vegas, saying, "I want to do my own cosplay that would be every bit as good as Matsuda's Blue Mage." Kiryu finished up his segment by saying, "I want the Final Fantasy XIV team to aim for 50 or 60 million players and to become the best game in the universe. The remainder of the broadcast was focused on introducing the content that will be included in the new update. As for Matsuda, he commented that he doesn't have any regrets." Yeah, like forspoken. And Yoshida said that during the 2024 Fan Festival at Tokyo Dome, they intend to give him a magnificent send-off. The date of the change of position for both Matsuda and Kiryu is expected to be finalised pending the approval at the annual shareholders meeting and a meeting of the board of directors. The annual shareholders meeting will occur in May for Square Enix and June for Square Enix Holdings. So, I feel like, given the context of reading this, that Kiryu is clearly an actual passionate he's a passionate gamer, actually, as it turns out, and this makes him seem kind of cool. I feel bad now. He's still a crypto bro. I'm not taking that back, but he actually does seem like a passionate gamer. That he's saying that he plays Final Fantasy XIV with his wife and then made his own character and everything. He wants to. What his plans are to bring in even more players. He's saying 50 to 60 million players, which is a lot. I don't know what it's up to now. I guess that's cumulative, but I don't know what it's up to now. So how he intends to achieve that, I hope he's not trying to achieve that by putting NFTs into Final Fantasy XIV. If you want riots on the streets, put NFTs into Final Fantasy XIV, I'll tell you that. So, I feel like Airbrush Kiryu, we need to put some respect on his name. So I will no longer be calling him Airbrush Kiryu. He gets his full name of Airbrush Kiryu-san. So that's what you call him now. Airbrush Kiryu-san. Okay? Right. Got it. Let's see your comments. Roche. Final Fantasy XIV NFT expansion convert. Roche, you get out of here with that crap, Roche. You get out of here. Python says L means 50. Oh. So then it's what? What did it say again? Where did that thing go? L is 50. Okay. So 50, 10, 10, 5 and 1. 60, 70, 76? Is it 76 then? Number 76? Is that what that means? LLXXV1? 76? Solar Python says, you keep saying Kiryu. That's his name! Stop keep saying it! I keep imagining Kiryu from the Yakuza gang sitting in the Square Enix boardroom. Yes, well, we speculated with no evidence that Airbus Kiryu-san is in fact a former Yakuza mob boss. We did. There's no evidence, but I'm just saying that he was, okay? There's no evidence, but he was, yes. Roche, place your bets, everyone, to see how fast and how much of the company talent starts to leave Square Enix, the Square Black Company arc. Oh, it's 76. Oh my god, please. No. I'll tell you who has been working too hard, though. Naoki Yoshida. This guy, Naoki Yoshida, on the left, and this guy in the middle, are the same age. They are the same age. They're like born like 2 years apart. 2 years apart. They're almost the same age. Look at this difference. Look at this.
発表した直後に桐生さんにお会いした社内でお会いした時も室内さんって来てどうしたのかなと思ったら、僕ギター買おうと思うんですよってすごい熱量でした。
Look how much younger this other this
思
he
いっ
looks.
きり買えませんでした。でも最後手に入る。
I'll put it on that now. Look how much younger he looks. And look, the chat, all the people in Japanese are saying, what? Why? You're the same age. Why? I don't understand. You're the same age. Why does he look so much younger? And they say, no NFTs. New CEO, lol. He looks very young. See, look. They say, look, in English, someone says he looks very young. He's not that young. He's the same age. That's what I'm saying. Look up his age. I wish I understood what was happening. I'll tell you what's happening. He's explaining why he's look, hang on, can I pause this? New CEO is NFT Shield 2, beware. Yeah, that guy with the new guitar, CEO Takashi Kiryu. Yes, he is a crypto bro. So this is the problem. To be fair, he actually does seem passionate about these games. So we'd have to wait and see what he does. And is he going to pull the same nonsense as Matsuda and release 20,000 games in the last quarter of 2022? Is he going to do that? Or is he going to be sensible and spread them out? What's he going to do? I don't know. So they're saying, oh, he looks so young. Dude, he's not young. This is what I'm trying to explain. He's not young, though. And they were saying, oh, he looks so young. Boycott PSN 16. What the hell? He's not that young. He's the same age as Yoshida. You wouldn't believe it, but he is. I proved it. Look. Proof right here. 1975. He was born in, like, can you see this? I'm going to put it big on the screen. Look at this. You see his airbrush picture. He was born in 1975. Look. He's born in 1975. And then Naoki Yoshida, born in 1973. Proof. They are almost the same age. Yes, I think Yoshi P's been on them cancer sticks. Something's going on anyway. He's not that young. But he looks very bashful and sweet, and I thought that video was really cute, so decided to say it. J2 Blue, Kiryu, a former that's Airbus Kiryu son to you, J2. I already explained. You need to put respect on that man's name. Kiryu, a former Yakuza, that explains everything. Roche, Joshi P hasn't worked hard enough with Final Fantasy 14, doesn't have 20 million active players, and hasn't put in NFTs, clearly. Roche, Kiryu is young because he enslaves the black companies he is in to get his youth back, like he's sucking their youth away from them. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. Kiryu, like Final Fantasy 14 because it is an MMO internal money maker, live game service. The other games, on the other hand, not even a reference. To be fair, Roche, they was on the Final Fantasy 14 letter from the producer live broadcast. So, I mean, that's why they were talking about it. To be fair on them, they only mentioned that because they was literally on that broadcast to talk about that game. So to be fair, if he's on some other random interview and something, and he's still only talking about Final Fantasy 14, then yeah, I mean, get suspicious. But to be fair, he was on that broadcast. J2 Blue engaged. Can I abbreviate it as ABK? Okay, but you still have to put San on the end. That's AB Kiryu San. To you, J2. Right, fair enough, but not enough Final Fantasy 14 marketing. They have, sorry, you 16. Well, they have been marketing 16 though, but that broadcast was still. I mean, they do those. Like I said, they do those letters up on producers all the time. I've watched them before, and they don't go in there and start talking about Final Fantasy 14. People want to know about the game and the patches and everything they're doing, so that's what they talk about. And normally that guy on the right, Utsura, normally he actually interprets, because he can speak English, but for whatever reason they're not doing it on that one. So yeah. So then that's our secret topic. Airbrush Kiryu-san. Let's see which direction he takes Square Enix. Will he release 20,000 games in a single quarter and put NFTs in all of them? Or will he do something that's anything but that, please? Let's wait and see. Just watch this space. Watch this space. Let's wait and see what happens. Okay, gosh, we didn't get onto hardly any of these topics, is there? What have we got next? I didn't see these comments. The Mousy, nope, I'm here with Kike less than 100k. Oh, really? For about Final Fantasy 16? Oh, there. Jodie should become a official Square Enix interpreter. I know, right? I know. Who knew? But I can speak not only Japanese, I can also speak Crypto Bro. Did you know that? 2 languages. Kika says passion of video games plus passion of crypto equals money. Said the board as directors of Square Enix, probably. Mm-hmm. Is that, can we say, wasn't NFT bro? Yeah, he's taken over in May. Yeah, he is. When did I say the meeting was? What's that thing? Okay, there's no date. Sorry, they just said it's in. They said it's in May, but it's not a date. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So, I mean, they're saying finalised. I think that's a formality. It's pretty obvious he is going to be the next president. So even though they say finalised, they probably already all decided that they have to do it officially because they're a publicly traded company and they need to do all of that stuff. So, Airbrush Kiryu, maybe he's not, let's put it this way, maybe he's not 100% evil, you know, maybe he's 50% evil and like 50% just a nice gamer dude guy. But at the moment it's 50-50, it's up in the air. He could be evil, he could be evil, or he could be, you know, just a normal dude. We don't know which one. Just equal chance. Evil crypto bro dude. Evil Shinru crypto bro CEO, or a normal gamer dude who waited 9 months for a Fender Final Fantasy 14 guitar. I don't know. It's up in the air. 50-50 chance. Either could be true. We have to wait and see. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about. Let's move these. Oh, fuck, I didn't mean to close that down. We're going to talk about Cryin Jim Ryan. I'm just going to close these so it gets less confusing with laptop 10. By Airbrush Kiryu-san. I actually downloaded that because I know we're going to reference it a lot. Right. Not that one. That's not the topic. No, hang on. Now I'm getting confused. I need my bookmarks tab. I'm getting confused. Hang on. Open. What's happening here? Open this. Okay. Cryin Jim Ryan. Okay, we've got a gamesindustry.biz article. And we have me burping. Not that. We have that. And okay. So Cryin Jim Ryan first and then Maria movie after. So why is Jim Ryan crying? Well, he's been crying a lot recently. But in particular, he's crying more. I thought we'd cover this. Not crazy, but what he has said is so extraordinary that it behoves me to not bring it up. So we are going to bring it up. Let's look at gamesindustry.biz first. So, let's enhance. Can you read this? Let's get rid of the bookmarks bar. Oh, let's get rid of that. Enhance. Hopefully, can you see it all? His working resume says otherwise. Roche, what are you referring to? I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Okay. Microsoft welcomes CMA U-turn on Activision deal. Sony decries irrational decision. Meanwhile, university professor tells UK regulator cloud gaming is not a distinct market. So that seems to be like a side story right there. Okay, let's take a look at this gamesindustry.biz article. I'll go over it briefly. So this is the CMA that they're referring to is the Competition and Market Authority. That's the competition body in the UK, right? In the UK. So that's why this is a good article to look at. So I believe this is from the UK. Okay. Microsoft and Sony have responded to the Competition and Market Authority's revised findings that the former's purchase of Activision Blizzard will not harm competition in the console space. The CMA said last night that making Activision's games, including Call of Duty, exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem would be significantly loss-making under any plausible scenario for Microsoft. But now they've changed their mind. Oh, no. They're saying that it would be, so therefore they're not taking it off PlayStation. The UK regulator has now published its responses from the two platform holders, with Microsoft welcoming the addendum, I'm wondering why, to the original provisional findings. Microsoft has been clear since the announcement of the merger it has no intention to withhold or degrade access of Call of Duty or any other Activision content on PlayStation. Now that's interesting. It says or any other Activision content. So does that mean future Activision games? So for example, the next let's just assuming it is one, the next Crash Bandicoot, does that include that? Or by content, do you mean like players in I'm gonna say Blizzard, because it says specifically Activision. I didn't say Blizzard in this thing. Overwatch is Blizzard. Or like content in like the more live service games, or any other content. I don't know if that means like also new games, like entirely new games. I suspect that other than what they kind of have to keep on PlayStation, Call of Duty, that everything else is just going to go exclusive to Xbox, like everything. Other than the live service games that are already there. Everything else will be exclusive to Xbox ecosystem. Such a strategy would be in direct contrast to the interests of gamers in the UK and around the world. Rather than limit access deliberate choice of access, Microsoft intends to use the merger to bring more games to more people, more platforms and more devices. Except PlayStation. Because it ain't no way they're going to keep releasing all Activision Blizzard games on PlayStation. Like, I mean, brand new games. Like, literally completely brand new ones. Like, the next Blizzard game. That's not, obviously Diablo 4 is about to come out. So that won't even come out under the merger, I don't believe. Anyway, they're already putting it on PlayStation. The game is done. So they're not gonna not put it on. But I mean, like, Diablo 5 was what I mean. Like, the next game. Is that going to be on PlayStation? I doubt it. So they're saying this here. But it's going to be on more devices, is it? I doubt it. I don't think they're going to... It's kind of... You could read this in one way, that they will continue to put all the games on PlayStation. I just don't think so. I think it'll be Call of Duty, yes, and some other select things, and content for, like, Warzone and stuff like that. But all of them? No, because then why buy Activision Blizzard if you're just going to continue to put them all on PlayStation? And that's what we're talking about here. Microsoft doesn't really care about Nintendo, about hardly any of these games went there in the first place. And yeah, they signed that deal to put Call of Duty on the Nintendo platform. But that was a necessity. They had to do that. So they decided to do that. It's one of the things that would get this deal passed. Sony, meanwhile, said the reversal of the CMA's position is surprising, unprecedented, and irrational. Spending much of its 11-page response detailing errors it believes the UK regulator made in calculating the lifetime value of an average gamer for either platform. SIE respectfully submits that the addendum does not justify the CMA's U-turn on the console's theory of harm, the company wrote. Sony claims the model CMA used was biased towards finding that Microsoft had no incentive to withhold Activision's games from PlayStation, and ignores the, without sound reason, the analysis of other evidence in the provisional findings regarding Microsoft's incentives. It added that the addendum's discussion about whether Microsoft would withhold games is based on pure speculation rather than evidence. To reach a robust decision, the CMA should revisit its analysis of Microsoft's incentives and partial foreclosure, correcting the errors identified in its paper. The PlayStation response concluded. So, we're going to go on because this goes on for a bit here, and in particular I want to get onto the bit that Jim Ryan said. I don't know, maybe it's not even in the article. Maybe it's not in the article. Hold up. What the hell? I want to make this bigger. Enhance. Where's what Cryin Jim Ryan said? Hold up. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. Is it in this bit? Oh, maybe it is in that other article. Hang on a sec. I don't know where it is. Where is it? By the way, if you want to call in, I don't know if anyone can. Oh wait, hang on, Kika. Kika said I can join in 10 minutes to talk about the Vita 2. Oh, you can? Please join, Kika. I'm here by myself. I need you. I asked people to join. In particular, I asked what's her name? Arivana? I can never say that name. Here we go. Oh no, Arivana Riva. I asked them to join. And they got shy and said they didn't want to. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, Arivana. Nothing's going to happen. Please join. Please join. Please join. Okay. Okay, I thought the bit where he said that was in this article. Maybe it's in this one. It's supposed to be in this one. Okay, so... Well, whatever. We got a summary of what happened. Just ignore that. Just ignore that. I had the wrong thing. Ignore it. Okay, Jim Ryan. 1 second. I'll be back. I need Kika. I need Kika to come and save me. Barely talk. Okay. Right. Jim Ryan says, this is so hyperbolic, this is unreal. Our business would never recover if Microsoft degraded Call of Duty on PlayStation. What? Now, I know why he's doing this, right? He kind of has to make it seem as bad as possible. Especially when they're probably now, when I say they, I mean Sony, have probably decided themselves that this is going to pass. But at least they want some concessions. In fact, they don't want this to pass at all, because Jim Ryan is greatly exaggerating. He's grossly exaggerating, in fact. But this will have some effect on their business. It certainly would have some effect if Call of Duty was removed. I'll say that. Because a very significant amount of the income that get Call of Duty makes is from PlayStation. So it's both in the price of the game. Sony gets a cut of the game. The microtransactions that's in the game, Sony gets a cut of those microtransactions. And also, Sony also gets PS Plus subscriptions. Don't forget, the regular annual Call of Duty is not a free-to-play game. It requires a PS Plus subscription to play it online. Warzone, on the other hand, is free-to-play. But the main game, the main multiplayer mode of Call of Duty isn't free-to-play. The game is not free-to-play. So although there is a free-to-play version or mode available, but the main one requires PS Plus subscriptions to play it online. Like what used to be just a regular PS Plus subscription, now I believe it's called like what's it called again? Essentials. I think it's called Essentials now. Basically just that. That costs around $60 US a year. Around that, although I know you get it discounted and so on. Okay. So let's look what he said. Yeah, so this is in the addendum that we talked about, that in the games industry article. So Jim Ryan said in the response that PlayStation would never recover if Microsoft were to release a degraded version of Call of Duty on PlayStation if acquisition of Activision Blizzard were to be approved. Now I'm going to be checking. Okay, no, just you let me know. Akike, you have to let me know when you're here, because I have no idea. Oh, you're here now. Did you just come in? Did you just appear? Bring you in. Here we go. When Kike's gonna come and save me. When you're ready, I'll read this. So when they're saying this degraded version, that begs the question: what do they mean by a degraded? What is a degraded version of Call of Duty? It would seriously damage our reputation. Our gamers would desert our platform in droves, and network services would exacerbate the problem. Our business would never recover. That is just hyperbolic, just madness. So he's exaggerating. He kind of, you know, I know why he's doing that. He's in that job to, you know, the board of directors or whatever put him in that job for this type of thing. But it does beg the question: what is a degraded version of Call of Duty? The only thing I can think of was when Bethesda was acquired. I don't know if this is what he's referring to, but when Bethesda was acquired, one of the people from Bethesda said something about they're not removing games from PlayStation, but games would be first or best or better on Xbox. It was something to that effect, wasn't it? I'm gonna Google this. Bethesda. Xbox first best or better. He says something about first best or better. Here we go. I knew something like that was said. Now, I'm wondering if he's referring to this. Okay, Microsoft wants Bethesda games first best or better on Xbox. And this is in 2020 when they were just acquired or just about to acquire them. Oh no, so this is updated. This was originally posted in 2020, updated in 2021. So they want Bethesda games to be first or better or best on Xbox consoles when they are released. What does that mean? Okay, that's not saying what we'll do. So this is the Xbox CFO Tim Stewart who said this. And bear in mind that since the acquisition, new Bethesda games are not being released on PlayStation, apart from the ones that were already tied up in contracts, like Ghostwire Tokyo. So at the time, this is what they were saying. In retrospect now, this doesn't make any sense because they're not putting them on PlayStation at all. So then what? This makes no sense, right? If you're saying first or best or better, well, it's irrelevant because there are no PlayStation versions. So what does it mean? So this is what he said. What we'll do in the long run is we don't have intentions of just pulling all of Bethesda content out of Sony or Nintendo or otherwise. And listen to that wording. He means existing, like pulling content. Not withholding, pulling. Which means removing existing stuff that's already there. Well, obviously they're not going to delist a whole bunch of games. But new games are not going on PlayStation or Nintendo. But what we want is that we want that content in the long run to be either first or better or best, or pick your differentiated experience on our platforms. We want Bethesda content to show up as the best on our platforms. So if you take that literally what he's saying, in order for it to be best on their platforms, which they're including PC on that, of course, in order for that to be best on their platforms, then the version that's on PlayStation would have to be inferior. Otherwise, something can't be better than the other thing unless the other one's inferior. So I don't know. This is the only thing I can think of that Jim Ryan is referring to. Now, this was Bethesda, and this was the Xbox CFO Tim Stewart who said this, referring to Bethesda. This was long before the acquisition of Activision, right? So it was long before that. But is he referring to that sort of thing when he says degraded version of Call of Duty? Well, in what way it could be degraded? Kike, are you there? Or maybe Kike's
I am here.
Oh, you are here. Kike,
yes,
welcome.
I am.
Welcome.
Yeah, technical problems. I fixed it, but now I don't have the stream with me. So if you have any visual,
it's okay.
any visual aids,
Visual
yeah,
aids.
I won't be able to.
Well, the visual aids was earlier when we looked at that stream. with Airbus Kyria. So that was earlier. That was our visual aid. Now it's just me reading a whole load of stuff. What do you think about this degraded version of Call of Duty? What that's referring to?
All I'm saying is, why are they bringing that up unless the opposite was true, man?
Well, they're not bringing that up. It's me saying that because what I'm saying is about what the Xbox CFO said a couple of years ago about first or best or better. I brought that up because I don't know what Jim Ryan's talking about.
I'm trying to see because obviously Microsoft in 2020 is different from Microsoft now. Like, I don't think they ever expected to buy Activision at any point. I think they don't. Sony just doesn't want Microsoft to have anything better than them, either a feature or anything, or to be on par with them. They just want to be better, and that's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. So
if the Xbox version of Call of Duty had, for example, some DLC or maps or something that PlayStation
they don't want that.
Have, so
they don't want that.
That would be a degraded version. Or it wouldn't be as good, but by definition it's not as good because it wouldn't have as much content, so it'd have to be inferior. So maybe that's what he means. He doesn't mean I don't think he means a version that doesn't function. I know he goes on about the network services and all of that, but I don't think he means literally a version that just doesn't function, like a cyberpunk situation. I don't think he's talking about that. He's just talking about it's not as good in terms of maybe content or something.
Yeah, I know there's sometimes where it's like, the PlayStation version runs better than the Xbox version by like a frame or two, or like this one's more 4K than the Xbox. But I think they just want to avoid that conversation at all. Like they want the moment you think of Call of Duty to think of Sony. They don't want Microsoft to be in the conversation.
Pretty much what happens right now because of the marketing.
Otherwise, they'll go out of business, and then Jim Ryan was going to have to cry about, we regret to inform you that we have to go out of business because we don't have Call of Duty. It's an unfortunate situation, but yeah.
So Mario DK is kind of saying what you're saying. He said that degraded lower resolution or frame rate. I mean, the thing is that when it comes to different versions of a multi-platform game, one is inevitably going to run better than another. You can't tell just by looking at it, but once they do the digital foundry analysis, then you discover that one does run better than the other.
The only time anyone has ever noticed, without having a digital foundry, and the only time I can remember was the PlayStation 3 version of Bayonetta. It was the only time people were like, no, that's definitely Xbox 7 better.
I think that version did run quite badly, noticeably badly. But normally you just can't tell. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think any you require a digital foundry to even notice some stuff like that.
Exactly. What happens is these games release, and then a digital foundry deep analysis comes out later. And it's only after that people are like, oh look, the PlayStation version is better. See, it's okay, well you didn't know that. If you didn't even know that before, I'm just going to tell you, you literally cannot tell at all. Even if you was looking at it, them running side by side, you would not be able to tell without them having the little FPS counter and stuff running there.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan Coming says welcome. I get why he's doing it, but kind of throwing their own studios under for COD. So when you say that, Dan Coming, you mean saying, oh, they can't survive without Call of Duty and
Well, no, they're gonna survive. They just
not according to Jim Ryan.
No, I think it's like they're not gonna be. So I don't know how. I don't think that we have figures of like how big the gap between an Xbox Series and a PlayStation 5 is.
We don't, because Xbox doesn't release numbers, it's just estimates.
Yeah, Jim Ryan's like, I want that as big as possible. And now if we don't have Call of Duty, then or not, like if we don't have the best Call of Duty, then that lead is gonna get shorter, and he doesn't want that at all.
I don't
Even if
think
it's
the
still
lead.
number one, he wants them. Yeah.
I can't see their lead getting shorter just because they are so far out in front. I think the reason why Call of Duty was brought up so much in particular was because it is a huge franchise. When you look at the other stuff, the Activision stuff that Activision does, it all pales into comparison to. Oh God, excuse me, my voice is breaking. Oh, Kiko, you carry
Mm. Call of Duty is, I know in the US it's like the number one game every year. Like consistently, it's always the number one game every year. I don't know about the UK and Europe, but I'm guessing it's still pretty high.
Yes, it is.
So most of that is done on PlayStation. That's been proven. So 30% of like let's say $1 billion. That's a pretty significant like change. And then every microtransaction that might go into it, that's another cut Sony has. So that's like a big percentage of like whenever they do like their software sales. It's so the reason why software sales are always high on PlayStation is because of third party, and Call of Duty contributes like a big chunk of that, like a big chunk.
It does actually, to be fair.
So losing even like I don't know 5% is like, oh no, our money.
Yeah, because it's not just it's the money they get from the cost of the games, it's the microtransactions, and then it's the PS Plus subscriptions.
I
People
think
need
that maybe that's like the secret one because I don't know who, I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody put like a chart of like PS Plus subscribers throughout the years when it was introduced, and then there was like a big jump the moment Call of Duty was like not exclusive on PlayStation, but like when they started doing their marketing deals with Call of Duty. Like there was like a big jump the moment that started, and I'm like,
that makes
is that the real? Is that the real reason why they're so scared? Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to.
I think they can't like bring it because it's a whole bunch of stuff Activision Blizzard makes, and stuff like Diablo and Overwatch are very big. But I think even those are just not as big as Call of Duty at all.
No, they're still big, but Call of Duty is in its own thing. It's so big that the government had to get involved to see if it could.
Yeah, because those. I mean, Overwatch 2 they have now and they're updating it, but Diablo is like a once in a generation game that they release. And I know there's like a whole bunch of stuff and DLC.
Yeah, Blizzard games used to take like a long while to come out, and then there was like this whole story that came out that Activision management wanted more games to come out, so that's why they started to rush like every year, like something, either like a port or a collection or a new game. But yeah, they usually take like a long while.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening. I'm just. Oh, my voice is dying a bit. Let's see. Mario says.
I think Minimac's in the waiting room.
Oh really? Who's in?
Yeah, I see him in the waiting room. See him in the waiting room.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. Normally, it makes a little noise when someone's there. I'm sorry, I didn't see. Oh, it was only 2 minutes ago, so it's been you in. Welcome, Vinnie Mac. Yeah, Mario says Sony has a better than 30-70 split for revenue on COD, which they would lose if Microsoft buys ABK. Roche says COD is the most important PS5 exclusive. Just look at their first party. They just, they just flop left and right. Yeah. Thank me Center. Hi again. Hi. Thank me Center. Roche says, oh yeah, I remember that chart. I remember in a Spawn Wave video. They said, oh really? I haven't seen that chart before.
Oh, was it Spawn Wave? I think it was Spawn Wave.
Okay. I guess I didn't see that. Thank me Center. The revenue gain for having the perception of your system is the place. It is to play. It's hard to overcome. Honestly, if this gets them to want actual, if this gets to them to actual want to compete again for your time, I'm all for it. Yeah. Sorry, I think you made a typo there, but yeah, I understand. Sorry, I think I killed my voice earlier. I think I killed my voice. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about that topic or one of our other topics, we have other topics is the Mario movie or anything else actually you want to talk about. We haven't started talking about the
Beta 2?
Beta 2, yes. You said you wanted to talk about that, so what would you like to say, Kika?
So this was strange because I woke up on Twitter, and then so the first thing I saw is new Sony handheld rumored. And I'm like,
so you just said I woke up on Twitter.
You wake
said
up.
I woke up on Twitter.
I woke up. You go to your phone. You open
the first thing you did is you turned your head around and you put your phone. It's the first thing you did. I see how it is.
And then you turn on Twitter, and then you see rumored new Sony handheld.
This is why I'm trying not to be on Twitter and stuff as much, honestly.
So I just saw that. And I was like, what? I didn't believe that. And then, I read more and more, and I'm like, oh, this is even worse.
Yeah, so I kind of feel the same way, because the rumor came out before the Insider Gaming actual report. It was just a rumor. If Tom Henderson had said something, and then Jeff Grubb said he heard something about this handheld. But it's not at all what anyone wants. How?
No.
And
no, it is.
Before Tom Henderson came out and said what it was on his article, which I will bring the article up. Where is it now? Here. Yeah, so this is on Insider Gaming. Saying it's going to be a remote play device, basically. It's not going to have it isn't like it's going to have native games, basically, as in games that you
play
are made for the system that play on it. That actually play on it. It seems like it's going to be basically a local play device, so locally streaming from your own PlayStation 5 to this device, rather than streaming from the cloud.
Yeah, I know when Jeff Grubb said it, he said it was a streaming device, and I'm like, oh no. And then the article came out, it was like, yes, it is a streaming device, but you need a PlayStation 5 no matter what. I'm like, oh no, that's not even what Xbox does. Oh no.
Yeah, because the thing is that you can already do remote play with other devices. You can stream it to your phone, I will believe it, even the PC. But nobody knows about it because nobody uses it because it's kind of crap.
You need very specific conditions for it to work right. Very, very all the stars have to be aligned for you to actually play it.
Because I've seen do you know the YouTuber Mystic Ryan? He had a video where he basically tested out the remote play. I believe he was using his phone to do it, and he tried it at home, and then also out in like just like he was sitting in a car park or something. He was somewhere in his car. He was parked in the car. And yeah, when he was further away, it didn't really function very well. When he was at home, he could play stuff, but then it's like, okay, you have to be very close to your actual console.
Yeah, it's the return of the Wii U.
From this description, it does sound like a Wii U in a sense that it's tethered to the console. It can't function without that. And it says here, now this is just what this report says. We don't know if this is going to be the final design. But it says it's going to look like a PlayStation 5 controller, as in the DualSense, but with a massive 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center, with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. So, the first thing that's kind of what's off-putting is this massive 8-inch LCD screen. Like,
so 8 inches, that's
huge.
Yeah, that's the Switch is
not
7?
No, the Switch OLED might be 7, but the regular Switch is not 7 inches.
Yeah, because I have the OLED, so that's
so it's bigger than that, like just the screen, like real estate, the actual screen, before you even put any like
controllers
board around it, the controllers, the actual width of the system or anything like that. It's already very large, and the fact that they would make it LCD and on OLED, a lot of devices just think they'd go with OLED, but LCD. Let's say it can stream up to 1080p 60 FPS. I just don't know who this is for, because when this was first rumored, Kike, I was thinking about the possible scenarios, because at the end of the day, if they was to make like a traditional handheld, right? So a handheld that can play games natively, but then also normally a traditional handheld would have games made especially for it, in particular, right? Rather than just the same games, right? It would have games made for that system. So my thoughts were like, if they went back to doing that, like they would effectively be managing like having to produce games for 3 HD systems, so the PlayStation 5, the PS3R2, and the new handheld, and that was something they could not manage when they had the Vita.
Yeah.
Like no one has been able to successfully have 2 HD platforms. Don't forget, when Nintendo did do it, the 3DS was not a HD platform.
It was not.
It was not. It was much cheaper to produce for the 3DS. That's why they did get a lot of games made for it, because it was just so cheap to make games for it.
When Smash Brothers came out for both, it came out first on the 3DS, and they asked Sakurai, why is it coming out first? And he just straight up said, we finished that way earlier.
Okay.
We finished the 3DS first, so it's releasing first. Like, oh.
Okay, so they did a staggered release of them.
Yeah, they did. It was really strange at the time, but yeah. Developing, not even Nintendo's developing for like 2 systems anymore. So
because it's so difficult and expensive.
Yeah, before the article came out explaining what it actually was, people were theorizing that maybe it was like a Steam Deck, where it's like it can play PlayStation 5 games, but like at the lowest of low settings, if that makes any sense.
So yeah, that was another option as what it could have been. It could have been something like a Steam Deck, where it's playing games natively, but native versions of PlayStation 5 games. So I thought that was an option. The problem is with that, or a problem I could foresee, and this is not going to happen. It's a hypothetical. But I was like, okay, but if they were doing that, wouldn't that be like them just making a games for PlayStation 5 and there's something that's like a PlayStation 4, like PlayStation 4 level games? So they're making all these like almost like cross-gen games, right? If you have to develop across devices, the same game. And when you're designing a game for like all the type of games that Sony makes that are made for playing on a large screen, but sitting down for long periods of time. That's not the same way that you play something that's handheld. You know?
Yeah.
So it made me think about like splitting the resources is difficult.
And also, so
mm,
the game, so this thing is still not coming up for a couple of years. Like they even said that there's going to be like a weird PlayStation 5 that has a detachable disc drive. That's coming up
I'm
for
a
us.
little bit worried about that, but anyway, I'm good.
Yeah, but then that after that it's this handheld, whatever it is. So it's gonna take a couple of years. So that means that the games before it launches have to not remade, but they have to make like the settings for those games in order for it to work. Like they have to go back. PlayStation 5 games.
Oh, that can be played on there. Yeah, I mean,
like Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, like they have to go back and not redo Ratchet and Clank, but they have to make like this is the handheld settings for Ratchet and Clank.
So
I
don't. It sounds like they're not doing that. It's just going to be this local streaming.
No.
But if it was native, they would have to, and I think that like this strategy does mean that they're not in that situation where they have to split their resources, and that's something that could be done like 20 years ago, but now it's just way more difficult because it's just so much more expensive and time consuming to produce games at a HD level. Like you wouldn't be able to, Nintendo wouldn't be able to make another 3DS, another sub HD system. They just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to get away with that in this market now. You know, I think that even for Nintendo, it has to be at least 720p. They can't have another. The 3DS was 240p. They can't make another 240p device. You know, it has to be what it is now, at least. So.
Yeah, it's.
In that sense, I understand like why they wouldn't. Oh, what happened? Did you leave, Kiki? Are you there?
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Vinny Mac left. Vinny Mac, what happened?
I think it's gonna.
Are you saying no one could hear you? Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry, Vinny Mac. I didn't realize no one could hear you. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, another fantastic show. Jay, how are you? You doing well?
I'm doing well. Was you speaking before? I'm sorry that I didn't.
No. I didn't see an opportunity to jump in, but when I started talking, I didn't know if anybody heard me or not. So that's my apology.
Seems to be like it's a technical issue because it's working fine now.
No problem. I appreciate it. I did have a couple of questions regarding this PS Vita 2 thing. Yeah. I guess were people really seriously thinking that this was going to be a handheld system? Were people honestly thinking that Sony on their PlayStation 5 is going to split resources when everything is going up to now create subpar games from their PlayStation 5? Was that really a real thing people thought?
Well, the thing is that
when the
original rumor didn't say anything about. It just said there's gonna be a hand. It didn't. I mean, what's the first thing that you'd think about? Okay, a handheld. So I mean, this just sounds like what they already have. Like they have that licensed backbone device that you can use with a phone, all that type of thing. So yeah, and I think there are a not insignificant amount of people that would like to see Sony make a handheld with native games. So yeah, there was a little bit of hopium in there, I guess, you know.
So we as the gaming community thought that Sony is going to have their PlayStation VR with their own native games, the PlayStation 5 with their own native games, and you're saying a subpar version. I'm just going to toss out the next game, maybe God of War Atreus. And I'm supposed to play that game on a smaller version of my PlayStation 5 on my PlayStation 5 Vita. And the Sony gaming community, based on all the marketing and brainwashing, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, that they've had, I'm supposed to accept a lower version of that on my PlayStation Vita. And the gaming community seriously thought that system was going to come out. Like with the way it's reading, it can only go in this direction because the PlayStation 5 is the main cash cow, so everything else needs to be an accessory towards that. There's no way I thought we're going to get a God of War size matters on this PlayStation Vita too. I just don't see it. Even if you're saying, well, they can do like a Steam Deck, they're already publishing games for the PC. So now they're cannibalizing their own market share.
So there's that. If it had been like 3 years ago or something, before they started putting games on Steam, then it would make a little bit more sense. But now, since they not only are they putting games on Steam, but I'm sure at the time they put games on Steam. Yes, those mini PCs did exist back then. They existed for quite a number of years, but Valve wasn't making their own when they first started doing that. They probably didn't even know they were going to make one that was going to be quote unquote success. I say successful because the only number we have of this is sold 1 million.
Well, PlayStation 6 should be, if they really want to get back into the handheld market style hybrid, that really should be the PlayStation 6. Focus on the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 Slim, Pro, whatever is supposed to be coming out tomorrow, and then also focus on that PlayStation VR, and that's what they need to focus on. The PlayStation 6 can be hybrid. That makes sense.
They will never do that in a million years, Vinnie Mac. They will not.
Not under Jim Ryan.
No, definitely not.
You don't think
over Jim Ryan's dead body. They will do that.
I think by the time a PlayStation 6 timeframe comes, I think the technology will be there to get your big blockbuster style game running on a handheld system.
Yes, you could get it run. You could, but then whatever you can do with a stationary system will be far more advanced than that. There's always going to be, you can never, it's just physics. You can never get a handheld system to run the same as a completely stationary system.
I do agree, but the market is changing though. The market is shifting. We're now seeing all these Switch style copycats coming out within the next year or so. But I think I saw 2 different style Switch copycats after Steam Deck, and this is before the next Nintendo platform. So don't we already have 2 other mobile hybrid style gaming, handheld gaming PCs coming out?
I think that was inevitable though, because when something is just hugely successful like that, that's in many businesses you will see other businesses want a piece of the pie, right? I think though with these other some of the devices that are coming out are they're either one of 2 things. They're either essentially a mini PC, a handheld PC, or they are going for the streaming thing with maybe it runs on Android or something. So it seems to be one of those 2 things, but there is a lot of these devices that did have existed for a number of years. They existed before Steam Deck. The reason why people like Steam Deck is, the main reason is the price. The cheapest one is $400 or something, right? The cheapest one is $400, and that's the one that Valve has said they make a significant loss on that one. Right, so they would prefer people bought the other ones, but they make a big fat loss because they've just described it before. They didn't say how much, but they make a loss. People like the Steam Deck not because it's the best one of these devices you can get. There are better ones. They're just way more expensive. There's better ones that are better designed, have a better interface, they're not a big old chunky thing with these big old track. Who wants these trackpads that they took that offered the Steam controller, decided to put it on there, these big old square things on the side. The design of the screen Steam Deck is so ugly. People like it because it's cheap. People like it because, the only thing is that it doesn't run on Windows, it runs on Linux. It runs on Linux because Valve doesn't want to be tied to Windows. They don't want to have to be tied down and reliant on Windows. They want their own Steam OS thing to take off, But then I ask people, or I'll say, well, okay, how much is the Steam Deck sold? The only number we got is that it sold 1 million, and we heard that number last year. What has it sold since then? What is it up now? Even if I say, okay, I'm going to be generous and say, do you know what? Let's double it. Let's say it sold 2 million now, as of now. It sold 2 million. That's not. It's good for, I guess, for that type of device, but in terms of the overall scope of things, it's not that good. And I'll tell you why, because this is just my speculation, okay, but like when the Steam Deck was first releasing, coming out, Valve was doing interviews and stuff like that, right? And they were already talking about a few, like the next one they were gonna have come out, the next iteration and stuff like that. They mentioned it explicitly in interviews and stuff like that, right? But now when they were asked recently, they said the next thing's going to be a few years away, and they were asked about putting an OLED screen in that, and they said they're not going to do iterative little improvements like that. So it's like, okay, so what happened to all these before when they were saying, oh yeah, we're already working on the next one, it's going to be soon, it's going to be that you can upgrade and everything. Why the sudden, like, you know, that's not happening that fast anymore? And especially when it's the technology of when it comes to like what PC gamers want, which is like the latest stuff, right? It's already like long moved on. That's why you've got these new devices coming out that are way better than the Steam Deck, although they are way more expensive, right? So why is Valve doing that? And I think it's just because it's selling well for it is, but it's not selling like gangbusters because people that want that isn't, at the end of the day, it's a niche product. Now, there are some parts of the world.
I think another issue with the actual product is the actual product of the Steam Deck is that there is no software for the Steam Deck. All the software is Steam, and you can maybe play it on the Steam Deck, but they really need software to say, here's why you need to have a Steam Deck. It's not so you can play Steam games on the go, but because you can play these proprietary, built for the ground up style games for that system. Do they do that?
No. So here's the thing is, Valve does want it so you can play Steam games. They are trying to sell Steam games, and I think why this is, like, you're right about the, you know, games like a must play get system. I think that's the way a handheld would normally work. It'd have its own games. I think the reason why this is not going to take off and be a worldwide phenomenon is because of what the Valve is making it for, which is for a Western PC gamer oriented market. If you want a handheld to take off, it has to be successful in Asia. There's just no if, and, or buts about it. It needs to take off in Asia, especially Japan. That's the part of the world where, like, handheld gaming, mobile gaming, portable gaming is most popular. So you need it to take off there. And I do hear that they have, through a business part of their partner, they are selling. I think they're in some retail stores. The Steam Decks are in some retail stores in some parts of Asia. I'm sure I read that. But the problem is that you look at that market and what that market wants from a handheld. They do want proprietary games. They want physical games. That's one thing. Not having physical games is an issue because they do want physical games as well. So they're making it for a market, but it's fine because, like, the niche that Valve is going for, the device is successful in its own right. But I don't know. I'm just saying it's the reason I'm saying it's successful is because it's successful in the sense, I don't know in terms of sales, because all we know is sold 1 million, but Valve hasn't given us any update. We don't know what their goals or aims or anything are, right? It's successful in the sense that people talk about it. Like in the gaming circles that we're looking at online and everything, people Steam Deck. You'd think everyone has this thing, and it's selling millions by the way it's talked about. People always talk, even though it doesn't have its own games. People talk about it as though it's a discrete platform. I hear people saying, "Oh, they're going to get games for Steam Deck. They're getting Steam Deck games," but there's no such thing as Steam Deck games. Okay. Oh, Roche has put an article here in the live chat. This is from GamesReactor.com. An analyst says Steam Deck will sell 3 million units by 2023's end. Yeah, that's still not great. But to 3 million by the end of 2023? Let's look at this. When I say not great, I mean like for an actual handheld. Like, that's like way less than like the Vita. Okay, and this isn't what an analyst has said, so we don't. We have to take this with a pinch of salt. Steam Deck has been very popular over the past year, and Alice said this. He believes it's about to crack 3.5 million global sales by the end of 2023. For reference, this person said that Steam Deck has sold 1.6 million units worldwide in 2022. So they've added an extra 0.6. The only number we've ever heard is 1 million, and that wasn't from Valve, it was from someone else, but granted, it seems like they did actually know the number. So they're saying an additional 1.6. It's producing and shipping these decks at a fast rate. Steam OS, they're speculating that Steam OS will be made popular. Well, I mean, speculation. He acknowledged that the device itself is a niche portion. Yeah, it's like, in terms of PC gaming, it's niche. Especially since it lacks a proper retail list. The only way to buy a Steam Deck is with Valve, whereas PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch could be bought on Amazon or Best Buy. It's unlikely to be 100% in the short term.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't buy a Steam Deck in a store. Like, you can't.
Not. But I think that in Asia, there's some parts of Asia that maybe they did put it into stores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what they want. Yeah, it says Steam Deck may be how Valve gets out of Windows shadow. They don't want to be tied to Windows. That's one thing, but like, I don't know. What do you both think about? I mean, we've gone off. We're talking about Steam Deck and not this like Sony handheld thing. But I guess it kind of ties in. So yeah.
Because the thing that Sony's actually coming out with is like, what's the use? Why is anybody gonna buy it?
I mean, based on the information we have now, right? Assuming that that report is basically true, is that it would basically be an improvement over the backbone. So it would be, so the backbone is a licensed, that was an existing device that they've made a PlayStation 5 version of, which is just, it kind of just has PlayStation branding and PlayStation like buttons, although it doesn't have the button configuration. I don't think it's still in like the or the sticks are still asymmetrical mounted, because that's how the thing was already designed. In order to have that has something that has the symmetrical sticks and everything, Sony's gonna have to make it themselves. So I guess that's what they decided that they're doing. Let's just make, instead of just having this license, this thing to third party company that was already making something, let's just make our own. We're a hardware company, let's just make our own streaming thing. And maybe their goals are that they are not thinking this is going to be, it got reported as a handheld, but maybe they're not seeing it and they're not even going to market it as a handheld.
I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm on the side of this can be them testing the waters to see how reception would be. If this is going to be more of a remote play, let's pretend that the rumors are true, and let's say it is a remote play, almost like a fancier Wii U. So we'll just call it that, the PlayStation Wii U. That can be their testing ground to see, okay, you know what, there is a market for this handheld environment, because you're not really losing that market. It's supposed to be an accessory to it. So if there's a significant sale, I don't even know how we will even define that. But if there's enough of a demand, then yeah, maybe again, I'm still thinking, 5-10 years down the road, when they do talk about the PlayStation 6, maybe there is a handheld version of that. So I think of it a little bit more of the market is changing. The Switch sort of told everybody that, hey, there is a spot for handheld gaming. It doesn't need to be the best. It just needs to have good content. Maybe this could be PlayStation's way to sort of dipping their toe in the market to see what the demand is like without having to jump in.
I see what you're saying, but I just feel like, I mean, you and I both know that the demand for this device is going to be low. So trying to gauge the demand of a different device by using this device that's going to be super niche. I don't
see
maybe they would
why.
do other market research other than.
If I'm playing Spider-Man 2, I don't know why I'm going to go for my TV to my handheld device. I don't know why I would want to do that. If you have a PlayStation 5, you probably have more than one TV, and that more than one TV is probably not the main TV that the family uses, probably something else. So I don't know why I would want to leave the TV I'm playing to go off site and have to play the game while it's still streaming or cloud or need an online connection. I don't know what use it gives me other than for Sony to keep their big toe in the market to see, is there a demand for handheld play?
The use case
Or can you take your TV on your plane?
You could play it in bed, and maybe someone else in your household is using the television that the PlayStation 5 is connected to, then you could play it on your device. I mean,
but TVs are so cheap these days. Even if you want just a nice 4K, they're a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, they're cheaper, but like, it doesn't mean anyone.
I really want to go from a 32-inch TV to my 7-inch OLED screen. A game like God of War trailers or Spider-Man 3 or whatever.
But listen, Finny Mac, you have these games. Some PlayStation games are already on Steam, so they can be played on Steam Deck and other devices. And I've seen videos and things of people like swearing, but look how great Spider-Man runs on the Steam Deck. But there is people that want to do that. I don't know if that's just because it's just a marvel of like, oh look how good that this console game, a PlayStation 4 game can run on a quote unquote portable device. I say quote unquote just because the battery life's terrible, but.
See, I'm far more cynical than you are with that. I think it's more for content. They're gonna say, "Hey, look, Spider-Man runs great on my Steam Deck," and then once the video's over, they're never playing it again because you have a better version on your TV that you can play. So
But I think there's people that they actually laid out the cash for the Steam Deck. So even if you buy the cheapest one, it's still $400. So I would imagine they are playing it, but they're not necessarily playing those type of games at especially not at high settings because it drains the batteries. I think a lot of people play indie games on them from what I can gather.
Yeah, that's what I think too. A lot of the indie scene probably benefits the most from a Steam Deck, but again, the Switch also plays those games that, I guess at a great enough. The indie games I play run great, but I guess if you want that extra boost in performance, I guess you would go with the Steam Deck. But that's a very expensive product just to go with indie games only, to play like Chain Echoes on the go.
But people, I know it sounds dumb. Like, why would you want to buy an expensive thing like that just to play indie games on it? But
you're right.
People
do.
A lot of what people are doing the Steam Deck with indie games and emulating old games. That's like the main stuff they're doing on it. They're not like all playing like the AAA like Spider-Man or all that. Because first of all, how many games are there even like that you would be playing a lot? Because they're all like single player games like that, right? For me personally, the only time I ever looked into buying one of these devices, and it wasn't a Steam Deck. I think this was even before that. I don't know if that was even around, but even Steam Deck is ugly. I'd never get it. It's awful. I would rather pay more money for a better device. The only time I ever looked into one of those devices when I wanted a way to play Final Fantasy 14 in bed, right? And that's because of me personally. I've just described before, I have health problems and I have pain issues. So for me personally, it can be painful sitting at like the PC for long periods of time. Okay, and I wanted to play Final Fantasy 14. I was like, I wish I could play Final Fantasy 14 in bed. And I looked at one of those devices, but they were really expensive, and it just wasn't worth it to just just for that one thing to be doing that. So I didn't get it, obviously, but that would be a use for me. Or then the other thing is like there's a lot of indie games. You're like, well, why do you need this powerful device, or this device that's, I say, capable of running like full console games? Why would you just play a load of indie games and like emulated old ass like SNES and GameCube games or whatever it is, right? Well, you tell me. I don't know. Why would you pick? There's people that want to do that. Not me personally. I think that's a waste of money. For me personally, it's a waste of money. But
you know. Nobody has answered my question.
What's that? Sorry.
Which TV can I take on my plane?
You know, no, you can't. You can't.
Can I play my PlayStation on my plane?
No, currently you cannot play a PlayStation on a plane. Currently.
What? What if I'm at work and what?
Yeah, but Kika, even if you had this device thing, you wouldn't be. This wouldn't work on a plane.
Yeah, that's what. Why are they making it? Why are they making it?
Well, how many people are playing? How many people are worried about taking so many flights that they need? Only if you're like a job where you're traveling all the time, does that even matter? You know.
It's mostly like how much are you away from your house? That is the real question. How far are you from your house?
Well, how much are you away from your house, and also away from your house in a situation where you're essentially commuting and you're not driving yourself, so your hands are free, hands and attention.
Well, I will say, there is a benefit to that. I'm not gonna say I do a lot of traveling, but I do travel just like everybody else, and I have a light time sleep, more of a light sleeper. So if I'm staying at a hotel, yes, I do bring my DS with me, and it is something to sort of keep me company. But I wouldn't want to bring my Switch to like a hotel, a game that I'm actively playing, actively want to get involved in. I'm not going to have the time in a hotel or on a train or on a bus to actually get into the game the way I want to get into. So I do sort of get KK's point on this. But I do use my DS when I wake up early in the morning, just want to play just a quick little Kirby game or Mario game. That's kind of what that's for. But I know there are people out there that do want to play their serious games on the go, their serious games on the bus. I do get that. It's not for me, but I do know there is a market for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a market for. I think it's a small market. I feel like the type of games that you would have time to play, or like generally if you're taking like a portable gaming device, like it's for short bursts of play rather than sitting down for hours and hours and hours, right?
Exactly.
So it's maybe slightly different. I think people did want like Sony to make those style of games, but you look back at when they had the Vita, they didn't really support it very well.
Just like Xbox and JRPGs, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't get onto that. I don't know if we can. Maybe we'll talk about that topic next week. I'll be honest with you. I'm actually starting to fade right now. Unfortunately, this condition I have makes me really fatigued. So like I'm running out of steam right now, which is why I sound really subdued, right? So I'm actually gonna have to end the show soon because I'm like gonna fall asleep.
Get your rest, take care of yourself. We'll talk to you next week.
If you've ever watched me on my D&D streams, you've seen me fall asleep on a stream like loads of times, and like my friends have to wake me up sometimes because I just fall asleep on the stream, like straight up. But now I think like I'm getting a bit tired because this has been going for 3 hours. But before we end, I'd like to get into these comments. There's quite a few here. Oh, did he just leave?
Yeah.
Bye, Vinny Mac. Okay, I'm gonna get into these comments, Kika, and then we'll have our final thoughts. Where do I get up to? Mate woke up on Twitter. Darwin has directed at you, Kika. You woke up on Twitter. Then Rach says, then everyone has to apologise on the Wii U. Apologise on the Wii U now.
I bought it. I was a proud Wii U owner.
Yeah. Do you know what? The whole bunch of topics I didn't get to. I was going to talk about why Octopus Traveler is not on PlayStation. Maybe I'll do that next week. I'm so tired. I'm really sorry, everyone. I'm just so tired right now, and it's just really difficult for me to. Normally I can, and I have drunk a whole bunch of Monster, but sometimes the fatigue is just so overwhelming that it's difficult to stay awake and stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh yeah, Black Moon Center remote play was fine with the PSP, but the novelty wore off really fast for me. Oh, did you have a PSP and do remote play? Black Moon Center. I know you could do it with the Vita as well, and you can still. So if you have a PlayStation 4 and a Vita, you can still do it, obviously. But they didn't. So here's the thing, which makes this device seem all the more plausible. They didn't allow the PlayStation, the Vita, to do remote play with the PlayStation 5. They could have set it up so that you could do that, but they didn't. So which makes it seem a little more plausible, right, Kika?
Vita means live.
It does mean live. Thank me Center. At that point, just get a Steam Deck, considering they are making more PC moves as of late to varying degrees of quality. So here's my argument against that. Thank me Center. The Steam Deck is ugly. I would never get that device. It is ugly. It's big and ugly, awful, with big, ugly trackpads. If you see any of these other devices that they're portable PC devices have been made, no one's putting these big old trackpads on them. Okay? No one's putting that because it's an awful design that even among PC players that want to play handheld, hardly any of them are even going to use those. The main issue Sony has was the same as every other Nintendo. The main issue Sony has was the same as every other but Nintendo, when they never treated their handheld as an important first-party hub like home console. I actually will agree with you on that. I think the way that Nintendo approached handhelds and the way Sony did eventually when it was in the market is different. Like, basically, Nintendo would go, right, Sakurai, Smash, 3DS, now, let's go. They would put whatever their top studio is, their top franchise, on the handheld. That's the difference. They would do that. They'd be like, right, okay, Mario game, let's go. Put it, Mario team, let's do that, on the 3DS, right now, let's go. They would do that. Sony would not put their top studios on when they had the other platforms. It was always like their smaller studios or outsourced or just stuff that wasn't their top studios. They would never put them on the handheld. So at the time, Ben's studio made that Uncharted game for Vita. It wasn't Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog did not make that game. That was Ben. And at the time, Ben's studio. I know they've since made that Days Gone, right? And back then they hadn't made that. They hadn't made one of they hadn't had their initiation into the Sony Jim Ryan, type of cinematic games. They hadn't had their cinematic games debut back then. They were just there's some secondary studio that make these other games, right? So it wasn't Naughty Dog that made that. It was some other studio, right? So I can't say that for all the games. I don't know who made the God of War game. Was Santa Monica made the God of War handheld games? I actually don't know. Someone could correct me if I am wrong. But I know for at least the Vita, maybe for the PSP they did. So I don't know. I'd have to look all that up, and I ain't doing that. Certainly not now. But for the Vita, they didn't. None of their the top studios were developing for that. They all then just moved on to just purely. I mean, even at the beginning they weren't. Because what did Sony barely supported that after the first couple of years, and it wasn't taking off. So so I do think that is definitely a thing. Whereas for all of the handhelds, you look right, they put Animal Crossing was on the DS and the 3DS. Which always was a big franchise, and Animal Crossing on the 3DS sold, I want to say 12 million. Was it 10 to 12 million? Yeah. So that's a big seller for a game to sell like that. A franchise that's capable of selling 10 million plus, they put on their handheld at the time. Yeah. Think about that. They didn't make a Wii U. Well, they made that thing they made that Amiibo festival that everyone hated for the Wii U, but they put things like that on the handheld. Game that they could easily have sold. Now, if it was the other way around, don't forget, Animal Crossing is one of the internal teams that I think it's called EP. It's called EPD. Is it called EPD? What they keep changing the name? I don't know. The internal studios. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. I wanted to talk about the internal structure of Square Enix as well. We do that. There's a topic that I was thinking maybe we could talk about in a slow news week. But yeah, like that's one of the internal like main teams to do that. And don't forget they did the same with Mario Kart again. An internal main team. They put a mainline Mario Kart on the 3DS when the one previous to it was the one on the Wii, right? Was it the one on the Wii? It must have been.
Yeah.
Was it the Wii one? Yeah. That's like one
DS,
of the main
Wii.
studios that were the highest selling franchise. They put it on the 3DS. Like I think that sort of thing makes a difference. Like, so Roche says Steam Deck will never be good until they remove the control. Oh my god! I'm not reading that. I am not reading that. To share the Gaben. Okay.
Gaben.
Yeah, but that is pronounced as. Yeah, look at the way that's pronounced. Roche, come on. That's not. That's. We're not doing that, Roche. Come on. Stop that. We're not making jokes like that. To share. If that's what you was going for. What is that? How do you pronounce that? I guess it could be gammon cons. Well, gammon is like what? Pork? To share the Gaben off the tablet and also a kickstand. I don't know what that means.
The kickstand? Yeah, the Steam doesn't have a
It doesn't have a kickstand. Roche. If I misinterpreted you, Roche, I apologise, but I don't know what you're talking about there. Roche, the True Deck just announced. The deck just announced they see maybe 3 million by the end of 2023. So that thing, okay, yeah, but that wasn't Valve that announced that. That was just some analysts that said to think that's going to happen, which it could do. I'm not saying it's not going to, but I mean, Valve hasn't said anything. What if all TVs are being used exactly? Mousy, actually some planes have Wi-Fi and some trains do. They do, but the problem is that you can't connect to your PlayStation 5, even if it has Wi-Fi, because it has to connect to the PlayStation 5. So if you're up in the air, you're not going to get any like connection for. It'd be different if you're talking about like cloud streaming, right? But it's streaming from the PlayStation 5, not like a remote server. Mousy, what did you think about the secret topic? You didn't say what you thought about the secret topic. Did you see it? Did you see the I interpreted it. Did you see that? Night Josie. Well, I'm going to bed in a sec. J2 Blue. I would like to see the new PS handheld looks like, but the idea of streaming it just seems kind of meh to me. J2 Blue engaged. Ready at Dawn made the. Oh, was it Ready at Dawn? Okay, Ready at Dawn. He went on to make. Well, they make VR games now. Didn't Facebook buy them? I swear they got bought by Facebook. Sounds like a fun topic. Yeah. The reason I wanted to talk about the studios was because, and that's a lot. When these studios haven't got names that people can just name, like, oh, Naughty Dog, Luminous Studios. People are like, well, they haven't got a studio. I heard one person say, well, what studios does Nintendo have? Nintendo doesn't have any studios. Well, what studios do they have? So, yeah, they don't have exciting names, but they do have studios. Someone said something similar about Square Enix one time. They're like, well, what other studios do they have? So that's why I wanted to talk about it. But I am gonna end a little bit early. We don't even have a lot of viewers left anyway, so it doesn't really matter. no one's watching this crap. But I want to thank Kike for joining me today. I'm so glad you took the time to join me for a little while, Kike. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much.
No issues.
I'd like to say thank you to Vinnie Mac. I know you had some technical issues with someone, but I'm still glad that you were able to come on for a little while. And I want to thank everybody for participating, including like helping me with the topics and so on. I'm still going to continue working on the Discord and the show. I do have the roadmap, which I'm going to take a quick look at that right now. So if we look at the roadmap, yeah, so I have on the Discord server this roadmap, and I'm actually going to, because at the time I did this on my phone, I just took a screenshot, but I'm going to write this up properly. So I do have plans for, you know, making improvements and stuff. So there is stuff that I'm going to do. It's just going to take me some time, and I probably said before that I don't have a time frame on this because I'm just going to do it as and when I can. This is just a hobby for me, and this is a one-woman show. Like I got nobody to help me at all. But some help I am seeking is if that you would like to nominate yourself to be a mod. That'd be greatly appreciated. I need a mod for the Discord and I need a mod for the YouTube. Now, it doesn't have to be the same person doing both. It can be two different people, but I need one for each, please. So if you'd like to nominate, if you're listening to this on the VOD as well, please contact me to be a mod. I'd greatly appreciate it because at the moment it's, you know, I can just about manage it because there's not that many people here. But as we grow, I'm going to need someone else to look out for certain things and help me out. So a mod would be good. And then other things that I'm going to add is going to be stuff that's like reliant on me, like making the banners and thumbnails and stuff like that. And yeah, stuff that I'm going to put in, like I could have done the bottom thing. Unfortunately I was a little bit busy this week. But this other stuff I am going to add on, and it's going to be very fun because I'm going to add this stuff in gradually, and I really hope to grow this community. It's been really fun. I'm keeping the name of the server though. I know, like Jodie's JP Sales Chat. I think it just says what it is. It says what it is, and I feel like for the other sections, Game Corner Shop. Sorry,
I still like Jodie's JP Sells Cat.
That's going to confuse people. I still believe that's going to really confuse people. I called it that because that's literally the first thing I thought of. I could change the name, but to what?
I think it's fine like that.
I think this says what it is, right? And then we have the Hub World and we have the Game Corner Shop area. I think that really explains everything. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say really. Kike, any final thoughts?
I still don't get Jim Ryan. I hope to get him soon.
You don't understand him? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I don't understand
Who understands
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan? He's just looking out for the company he works for, but Jim Ryan has taken PlayStation into a direction that I don't care for personally. I've said this before. PlayStation as a platform is a good platform. I have a PlayStation 5. You can get some very good games on there, but in terms of like what PlayStation as a company is doing overall, that overall strategy, all these live service games they're coming out with, the Neo Jim Ryan nonsense, like, or just, you know, the games being it's not me, man. Like, I don't care for what they're doing, and I feel like this Jim Ryan just moaning about Call of Duty and everything, it's just not a good look. I know why he's doing it, and I think it's not like I don't think he should be doing that, because he's trying to look out for the business, but at the same time it looks bad. So like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Sony's just has had better leadership in the past. But you say, well, their leadership's good because he's making them a lot of money. Yeah, in that sense, but I feel like they've taken Sony down a direction where, like, it's gone past the point of no return now. in my opinion, with the way that they've decided to do things. And, you know, it's working for them, it's fine, but Sony, like, just as a direction of they're doing things, like, I just don't care for it. And, you know, maybe it's just me, just like what they're doing is like, I just don't find any of it exciting at all, like, for me personally. And then the prospect is that they're making 12 live service games, like, I don't care about that. Like, and they're making so many because, like, a lot, you've seen what happens in live service games, a lot of them just flop. So they have to make so many so that at least one sticks, right?
The
resources like that. But, you know, we'll talk about this more next week. And because this show, it does seem like I'm cutting the show short, but I've been live for 3.5 hours. So come on, cut me some slack. And my house is I'm sitting in a completely dark house at the moment because the sun's gone down whilst I've been sitting here, so it's got dark now.
It's okay.
All right, thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.